Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton. That's right, guys. It is art night tonight. I hope. I just want to welcome everyone for joining me tonight. We got all the streams going up, so it's exciting to see everyone. Hello to everyone over there on Rumble. Hello to all of our ex-viewers. Hello to all of our Pilled viewers. Nice to see you all. Love the memes, guys. And hello to our YouTube viewers as well. Everybody do me a favor. Make sure we're all hitting those buttons, right? We hit those likes, follows. So important, guys. And thank you so much for your support with your rent, cash apps, pills, and more. It means the world to me today. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas, right? I am so excited to be with you guys here today. If you guys don't know about my wonderful art group, it's called Artist Corner, and yes, it's Artist Corner International. I am so excited. We usually do this on Saturdays, so we want to let you know that every single day I highlight an artist, whether you're a painter, a sculptor, photographer, an author, a poet, or more. We love having you in our Artist Corner. So exciting to have you guys. And then every single week, you guys, by your likes, shares, and comments, those get tallied up and we get our artist of the week. So let's get that loaded, everyone. And let's give a huge little shout out to our Artist Corner. Highlight our artist of the week. Let's give them a round of applause. Starnes, he's been on this show before. We absolutely love your work. We're so excited that you're a part of our Artist Corner family. So make sure you guys are giving him a follow. You can follow him on Truth and on X at TC Starnes. You guys go check him out. He's been on the show. We can't wait to have him back. So exciting. What a wonderful artist he is. And it's just so exciting to have you part of our family. So huge congratulations. These are just some of his amazing artwork. So everyone, make sure you're giving him a huge congratulations and a follow. Again, you can follow him on Truth and on X at TC Starnes. You are our artist of the week, my friend. And we are so thrilled that you are part of our Artist Corner family. All right. So let's just remove that and get it all set up here. And I see that we have our guest in the back. We're just making sure that she is all connected up here. And we will get on with that. So I hope you guys are all, yes, hello, guys, over there on Rumbles. We got the Frosties in the house, JJBs, Nancy, and more. Artist Corner family showing up like crazy. So great to see you guys here, everyone. Yes, we will welcome so much for joining me. Hopefully we can get her all set straight here and get her signed in. I don't know if she can hear me, but her device, it says it's not connected. So we get to just chat with you guys, and let's see if we can get her to come back in. And before that, so how was your guys' Christmas? Everybody have a good Christmas? Let's see if she is. There she is. Okay, awesome. Awesome. I hope you guys had a great holiday. All right, guys, tonight our guest is one of our Artist Corner family members over there on X. We're so excited to welcome her. Tonight, we are joined by Sienna Johnson, a Renaissance artist who's an inspired observer who works radiant themes of love, transformation, and harmonic connection. Sienna's creative process centers on community building, art barters, and uplifting exchanges that strengthen human connection and inspires others to live with purpose rather than drama. Sienna's journey as an artist began in 2019 when she was invited to paint a 5x7 mural for her children's elementary school library. Despite never have painted before, from that moment forward, she has painted daily, allowing art to become both a calling and a channel for Renaissance. Join us tonight as Sienna is going to tell us about her journey, her art, and her celebration of creativity. Everyone, please welcome my guest tonight, Sienna Johnson. You're muted.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so sorry that I was having a little bit of problems getting on here. Although I've been streaming her before, it just kept having me, kind of reset my program. So, and I just moved into this room, so apologies for the, I'm still painting. This is a brand new room for me after moving from a room down the hall for 18 years. So I appreciate being here. I'm super, super excited to be here. And
I
I
am
may try
glad
to
you're
put
here.
some of my art up, maybe on my iPad. I just grabbed my iPad. So maybe I can put some of my other art up, specifically the painting that I did for the school, because that was really what kind of opened up my love affair for painting. So both of my
Right.
parents are actually artists. I grew up around the Washington D.C. art scene.
Okay.
Actually, that was like my main driver. Both of my parents, the National Portrait Gallery in Washington D.C. My parents met in a gallery right across the street that was there for, I mean, my gosh, it started out as like a antiques curio kind of shop in
Nice.
1915 back in Washington, D.C. Imagine it was
Yes.
it was the gallery, the venue that sold the Francis Scott Key desk. Like MC Escher, it was one of the first places in the United States that MC Escher showed. Norman Rockwell and Peter Rockwell would frequent there. My parents knew them very well. So I kind of grew up around art, but was always very intimidated by the idea of it because I thought everyone in my circle is really good. And, so I just never even approached it. I had a spiritual awakening in April of 2019, and with it came like, it was around that exact same time that the school had asked me to do a painting. And I used to do like just little doodles for staff
Right.
appreciation for the doors. But I would create 50 posters every year, and I did that for years. And so when my daughter was in fifth grade, I was in charge of the fifth grade promotion committee, and all the fifth grade teachers and the principal of the school called me and said, "We'd really like for you to do a mural for the library." I'm like, "I don't paint," and that would require scaffolding. I am disabled, but I don't know. I grabbed two huge canvases and put them together and created, it's a 5 by 7 foot painting that has Dr. Seuss and, I think like 20 different kids characters. And it will probably hang in that library for the next 60 years, I would think. So, but that really just changed everything for me. And, it gave me an outlet. I realized the cathartic nature of being able to express myself in a way that was only available to me. I didn't require anybody's, like anybody's validation. It was just a way for me to express myself however I wanted to. So anyway, that was a very long tangent. I just
No,
appreciate
I
being here.
love
Thank you
it.
so much for having me, lady. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, it is my pleasure. I was just sitting here thinking because I love to do murals. In fact, my kids, well, my parents, my mom is very crafty and she did a lot of things too, but murals are one of my favorite things to do, and I paint very large. But when I was going to the U of A and I had adopted these kids with real rare conditions, art was definitely an outlet, something I started doing. And we had this amazing mural scene there that we were just repainting over graffiti and things like that that have been tagged. But my honors thesis was a 5 by 12 mural that I built the wall and everything. It's still with me. But I love that. I mean, it's a whole different experience painting a mural because things are so much bigger. It's like
Yeah.
that height is like 20 by 26, just by itself or bigger, but it's a lot of fun. I'm glad that you found this world. Isn't it very therapeutic?
It's so therapeutic, my gosh. And I don't want to depress anybody, but my best friend of 33 years died right after my awakening. And while I was working on that huge painting for the school, and I just put everything into that painting. And it became like my passion piece. It helped me get through she died in a jet skiing accident with her husband. They both died in a jet skiing accident in 2019. So it was just like, I mean, I didn't know what to do with that level of grief other than
Yeah.
put it in that painting. So, no one else would know looking at that painting, the emotions that it holds, but it held quite a few. So
Right?
Um, yeah, I'll try. I'm gonna pull up that image. I've got my iPad here, so 'cause I don't think I sent that one to you. I don't think so.
Probably not. But I'm just gonna say a real quick thank you, Free Castle, for gifting a subscription to our audience over there on Rumble. Thank you so much. I appreciated that. Oh, and he did another one. Thank you so much. He's over there gifting
Oh,
subscriptions. Free Castle, thank you so much, you guys. Grab them while you can. Oh, awesome. That's right. Okay, good. Did you find it?
I am looking right now. Sorry, it's way back. It's way back in my. I have thousands, literally thousands of images of my art. I should probably
Right.
start doing something with them soon, huh? Um, yeah. So you do this? Is this every Saturday you do this, lady?
I do this Friday and Saturdays. Yes, I do. I'm going to be going on 3 years coming up here in February. But it's something, I want to do. I mean, politics aside, but it was getting pretty just crazy out there. And, I wanted to be a space that just provided a calm, a way to get out of the stress environment of that kind of scene on both sides and whatever you want to say. I'm not to talk about that, but I saw the environment going on. And I'm like, art is a place where people can write, they can draw, they can paint, they can take photos, they can do so much. It's so therapeutic. And all of my degrees are in art and art therapy, art education. And, I watched my children that I adopted. These were really, I mean, they were foster kids. They were severely abused. And to watch them through art, through me teaching them, change their lives. I have a son who's a drama major and my two girls, but going from this dark world into seeing colors, and I'm like, it was just unbelievably therapeutic. So I provided this. So this is where I started over on Truth Social. I started an artist corner, and we have 600 and something members over there. And then I decided to branch out onto X to bring the beauty, because these artists like you are so amazingly talented, and we become a great big community and family that is just so awesome. So why not have you guys on to highlight you and let the whole world see how beautiful and amazingly talented you are? So
I love it. I'm going to be talking. I'm going to turn this light off. I just realized how unbelievably unfortunate this light over my head is, but I I will be here. So yeah, I can't tell if there are comments. I really need to learn how to use StreamYard a little bit better. I don't know
well,
if they're.
I post them up when they are saying to you and when they say something about you that you've already got, like, 5 or 6 hellos. You can see them, and I'll post them up on the screen so you can see them. And then when they're saying, talking about your work, they will let you know. That's
All right,
right.
I appreciate you. I laid down to take a nap, and I woke up at like 6:50. I'm like, what just happened? And my lighting is absolutely atrocious. So I should have planned. I was meant to plan all this out way before. So is that too dark and creepy? I actually have some more lights here. Let me turn
Nope.
my.
But if
Okay.
you're ready, if you want to, we can start with your other work, or if you have it, we can go whenever you're ready.
Sure. Yeah, I'm opening my iPad here, just trying to make sure the lighting is so weird. I will kind of show like the images that let me just flip this. So
Oh, wait,
these
go ahead.
this is the kind of thing that I was creating
Oh, nice.
for the school lunches or for the school classrooms,
Right.
Um
I love it.
called it,
Those
that
are
was for
awesome.
the yeah, they it would, I would pick a different like this was obviously the Muppets, but it always had like inspirational things like that. So this is actually these are the ones that I did in 2019, but I had done them many years before that too. And then I'm gonna scroll in on the so my when I first started on the painting, this is kind of what it looked like. So it had
Oh,
Dr.
look at
Seuss
that.
at the
Right.
center, and then
The
it's
busting
interesting. I
part.
forgot about this one. This is an interesting story. This is the Violet from oh my goodness, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory here. And I decided that I didn't want her up there. She was like a balloon. I had,
Right.
Stegadonna, whatever her name is, holding her like she was a balloon. And this is actually kind of crazy. I wound up deleting her out of the painting one night. And the next morning, and it was when a good friend of mine was over. She was over consoling me over the loss of my girlfriend. And I said, I'm just not crazy about her up there. So I deleted her out of the painting. And the next morning when I woke up, the first thing that came up on my feed was that the woman who played that character in real life died. And
Oh wow.
it was while I was like scrubbing her out of the painting. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's like it's like something out of a horror movie. But let me scroll down. Sorry, I have so many images in here, but the finalized image of that one is hanging in the library, and I'm going to. I am so sorry. I am so. Okay, so here's the final painting, and I'll scroll in, and I guess I moved her and made a different balloon for her. I had forgotten I had done that. So again, this is 5 by 7 feet. The
Hmm.
lighting is probably not so great, but you've got Captain Underpants over here. And then it's actually so I've got paint all over my hands. Willy Wonka and three of the Oompa Loompas.
Right.
And then down here, you've got, oh, what is his name? Uh, this one I actually used, like, I pasted on the image because I just couldn't get it perfectly, and then I painted over it. That's one of the few times I did. Everything else is hand painted. This is I can't even remember the names of these characters, but there's like the three little pigs and the bad wolf and the giving tree. This is another story. I don't know. I just kept throwing images in. There's Aladdin and Jasmine, and there's Jasmine's castle, and here's the Wizard of Oz, and there's like the golden path that goes to the Emerald City. And let's see. And then we've got Harry Potter up here, the Whomping Willow. This is the kid from Wonder, with the space helmet.
Right.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Where the Wild Things Are,
Mhm.
and centered off by Dr. Seuss. So yeah, that if I had
Awesome,
not painted
right?
this, I don't think that I would be an artist today, honestly. And I fought against it. I'm just like, you guys should find somebody who actually knows how to paint. That's a big deal to take up such a big space in a library. But they actually have I'm very honored when you go in the library. They still have all of my old book covers too. I did. I spent a lot of time one year. I think I just did one for each of the teachers rather than all staff. So I put a lot of time into book covers for each one of the doors. I'll try to see if I have those in here. But yeah, it opened up my I don't know, it opened up everything for me. And I
Right.
stopped fearing not being good enough, because it just didn't matter. I mean, the feeling that I had when I was able to create something that I knew would be lasting, I mean, so
That's
many
awesome.
thousands of children are going to be looking at this painting, and I'm thinking, who knows what feelings that's going to evoke in them. And
Right.
otherwise they'd be staring at a blank wall. So
Right.
I'm just going to create and see who it resonates with. And
Libraries are so awesome for that kind of stuff. When I worked in the libraries with the youth in the local area too, I would have these art things, and every Saturday we would go do something, but we'd come back to the library and create art, and they were so great to put their artwork up, and highlight these kids, so they could come in and be like, look, so you guys, if you don't utilize your libraries, please do, because that is so awesome. And you're right, that's going to stay up there, and all these kids are going to see that and be like, oh, I know this and I know that person, and and just resonate with that and be so excited to see this. And it's awesome. It turned out awesome.
thank you. Yeah, it was really exciting. And for me, a big part of my kind of my path, my journey, my mission, after this awakening that I've had, is to very much try to figure out ways to inspire others to kind of step into their passions, to figure out what their passion is, and just really um, take the risk, just take the leap of faith that that's kind of like a calling for you. 'Cause that before that, I don't know, I was kind of a mom. Before that, I worked a lot, and I never really had my own thing. There was I don't know. I think it's just the cumulative experiences of my life. Just I just never was able to identify one thing. And now, and it's funny, even after painting for a couple of years, it took at least 2 years for me to identify myself as an artist. I'm like, oh no, that's other people. I'm just kind of piddling. Um, but after probably the 20th canvas, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm an artist. Maybe I can actually take that title on. So yeah.
Nice. I love it. I absolutely love it, guys. And you guys are going to see a lot of her work here tonight. So let's relish in this. Everyone, please go give her a follow. If you're somewhere on other platforms, please let them know. You guys can follow her on X for sure, over there. So you guys, please go and give her a follow. So you guys can see all of her great work, or you can find her, of course, in our artist corners over there on X as well too. But we want to make sure that you guys tell her about how great she is. Okay, thank you so much. And so here we go. I just have these in the order that you sent me, I believe. And so you get to kind of tell us about each piece. And we're starting. I love these collages.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, that is actually, I think I have that painting right here. Yeah, right here. So that's the whole painting on this one. And I apologize about the lighting. I really should work on my lighting here. Yeah, like I said, this is a brand new room, so um, it's funny. I usually have a story on the back. I don't have a story on the back of this one, so it was probably, kind of just like a portal. I always would wind up painting a lot of eyes. I love, like bright, vivid colors, like the oranges and the reds and the blues. But the eyes for me, this is kind of an eye in every direction. And this is not so much like the creepy, all-seeing eye. It's just, it's more like the third eye. Just keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, keep your soul open,
Right?
and everything else will follow. Yeah, this is more along the lines of kind of the same
Oh,
color
yeah, I believe I
palette.
have. Mhm.
Um, yeah, I've got, oh my gosh, I have stacks and stacks of them. Here's, I think you had this image up there of this woman. This I
Oh, I've
call
got
her.
all 27 of them to show everybody. Yes.
Yeah, this is Alice Post Wonderland. And on the back, it says, my identity is burdened anticipation. I painted this in 2022. And I know this is meant to be me as well. So actually, I channel a lot when I paint. I have no idea what I'm going to paint. I'll just sit down and start grabbing colors. I usually grab very, very vivid colors. And oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, if anyone has heard of neurographics. Have you heard of that lady?
I've not.
Neurographics. So my stillness practitioner, she's the one who helped me kind of line up my chakras and have my spiritual awakening. I mean, I saw her and hours later had this big profound spiritual awakening. But right after that, she said, Sienna, in order to like tap into the fact that art has become your kind of like outlet for this all of this energy that you're feeling. She said there's something called neurographics. So I actually sat with her, and it's this process. I can put a link in. I think it's really interesting. It was created by this guy in Russia. I don't know when, probably 100 years ago or so. But it's almost like an analysis, or like a way to you write intentions on one side of like a canvas, or paper, whatever you're going to use to create your art. Your intentions for that painting, your intentions for the day, the way you were feeling, you write it on one side, then you flip it over. And she had me close my eyes, but you basically take a pen or a pencil and just start drawing squiggly lines from one side of the paper to the other, from the top to the bottom, from the side to the side, and just keep doing that over, and they'll intersect, in a million different places. And then you soften the line. So there'll be a lot of like little triangular or like X kind of things, and you just soften it. So you like make it like the edge of a balloon wherever there's a hard line. And then you see what images come. And that's actually how I really became an artist. Like this, I can't remember if this painting here used that technique, but it is a phenomenal technique for anyone who is interested in, starting to paint or starting to draw, but doesn't know where to start, because the images will just come out. And it's almost like the universe is, guiding your hand as you're softening these lines. And actually, I'll pull up neurographics. It's phenomenal.
I did.
It's
I already showed it on the
oh,
screen.
you're so good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm already on it, right? Everybody, there you
Yeah, of
go.
course.
That's the drawing technique
So yeah,
developed by
anybody
Russian
who's
psychologist Pavel Piskarve. Hopefully I said that right, in 2014. Mm-hmm.
oh, it's only 2014. Oh, so it's
Yep.
new.
Yep.
That's even more interesting. Okay, so in 2019, she introduced it to me, and I started doing it. I actually started doing it with my father-in-law, who was living with us at the time. Essentially in hospice, because it was just a great outlet for us to just sit there and create. But I have at least 10 pieces that I think I started like that. Yeah, that painting there, the really weird one. I'm pretty certain that was the neurographics approach. You just kind of draw the squiggles, and then you start to see what comes out. And for me, inevitably, a whole bunch of eyes are going to come out. So I don't know if that's creepy or not. I really have not. I've never received any actual feedback on my art. Like these kinds of paintings, people just look at them and like, whoa, that's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I'm not quite sure. I think it may make people feel uncomfortable because there's so many eyes and they're not quite sure what the message should be. So yeah, I would love love to hear any feedback that
Well, you
anyone
guys
would like
pop it
to.
up in the comments. But I love abstract art. I'm very much, my very first one was the same kind of thing too, where I just, when I found oils and really got into oils, my very first oil painting is kind of sitting behind me, but it was just literally movement of color, in with like kind of, I had a professor like, just paint with the music and whatever you feel, and so learning how to blend, learning how to move, and there's some kind of flames in there. So there's different kind of shapes in there, but you're just literally just creating. And I love abstract art because it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be whatever you want to put on the canvas. Pick some colors, have some fun, learn the materials, because not everyone, is photorealism. I'm a photorealism artist as well, but it was just so great to sit there and see what's going to develop out of just moving with lines and shapes and colors, and playing with this. So I'm with you on that. I love it. I
Thank
love it. If
you.
you guys want to drop anything in the comments, let us know. Right? And it's awesome. So are you an acrylic? Is this acrylic or oils? What is your medium?
I use a little bit of everything. I basically typically start with just a straight up acrylic paint, and then I will grab acrylic markers, and then sometimes I will accent it off with either oil markers or just oil and oil markers. So yeah, it's always an acrylic base. I don't always add oil, but if I really want to, I don't know, like kind of add a more realistic color scheme, because acrylic is, I mean, I love kind of the cartoony effect of a lot of my art, but the pieces that I have added oil to, I don't know, they always seem a little more mature maybe.
Oh,
So yeah.
vibrant. I don't know. I love
Yeah.
the vibrance of oils, and the richness of oils. But I also too, when I'm gessoing a canvas or I'm toning my canvas, it always starts, with some kind of acrylic base. But I'm also a multimedia kind of artist too, so you have to start with acrylics because you can't do oil and then acrylics is not going to work. Everyone, you got to do acrylics first. Um, and go that route. And then sometimes I even take my acrylics and then I'll finish it with like a light glaze just to give it that sheen as it's done.
Yes. 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 What glaze do you use? I'm curious.
I use just oils. So I'm very naturalistic. And so I will use a walnut oil or a grapeseed oil. And that is how I glaze. In fact, when I paint, I'm very much the same way. A lot of people use a lot of paint. I use more oil than I do paint on almost all of my work. Like, like a 90-10 guy. So 90% oil. And I tint my oil, especially when I'm doing skin tones. And then I do layers. So when you look at a face of mine, it might have 10 different layers of oil
Yeah.
glaze on it to get that, as I'm building up these different tones on there, where a lot of artists don't paint like me, but that's
So
just how
you
I am.
you tint your glaze.
Mhm.
Does that dry a little bit faster? I'm so curious.
No, 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 no.
No.
me months. You know, I would do what I call my statement pieces, and it would take me one a semester because of the multimedia, you know, and the different methods I do. But the glazing techniques, it depends on where you are. In Arizona, it would dry out a lot faster, air conditioning, so forth. But as soon as I moved to humid areas, I was like, seriously, okay, weeks. My acrylics don't even dry overnight. You know, sometimes they take a few days to a week. You're like, wow, okay. So it kind of really depends, but no, very, very slow. And sometimes, you know, you're working on a couple pieces or a smaller one. But no, they take me a long time.
Wow. Yeah, I don't typically have the patience to wait for the oil to dry. And it's so funny because the acrylic dries so fast and oil dries
Mm-hmm.
so slow. It's just kind of like, oh my gosh, I kind of wish there was something in between. But yeah, so I love the multimedia approach. I
Yeah.
actually so I created a claymation. Um, I was actually wondering if I should submit some of the pictures for that, but I created a claymation that I made these little clay pumpkins and all these elaborate backgrounds for a claymation during the COVID lockdowns. And that was before
Mm-hmm.
social media really kind of blew up. And I just needed an outlet that was not just straight painting. So yeah, I love that. I just like working with my hands. But yeah, clay became my outlet
Really?
for at
Right.
least a year. Yeah. So
My daughters too. Me, I can't stand having my hands dirty, so clay is not
fair
an
enough.
outlet for me.
Yeah.
But you know what? My daughter hates painting. Well, she, you know, it's not her thing. And then I'll sit there and she'll give her some clay, and next thing you know, she's doing like the sculptures from oh, I can never think of it off the top of my head. Okay, it's the two in China that they found with the terracotta soldiers. She literally in like I swear like an hour she's got a guy on the horse, you know, and I'm like, what?
Oh, those are so cool.
Right, right, and
That
she's
room
really
that just has
good.
like thousands of them. It's like,
Right,
what on? Oh,
right,
it's
and
so
she's like over
incredible.
there just sculpting it, you know, with like no effort whatsoever. And I'm like, you go, girl. See, we all have our own hidden talents. Doesn't mean we can't learn things, but that's her love, and she found it very therapeutic, you know. So go out there and find your alley, you guys. Try different things too. Try different things. It's so nice. Yes, that's right, JJ. She is a multimedia talent, isn't she? That's what my one of my wonderful Moz producers love, JJ. And so I agree. He says, wow, Sienna does multi-mediums. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Oops, there you
Well,
go.
actually,
So
yeah, I had a friend over last night, and I showed him a bit of my claymation, so
yes,
I could play. It's very abstract. I mean, it's very
I love
like, but it's really it's a heavy lift. It's basically the battle between it's good and evil, but it's at in mine. It's actually gourd versus evil, like a pumpkin, a gourd, and the
that, right?
main character's name is Gordy, and he's this lone pumpkin in the middle of a field, but he knows, he can feel that there are others out there. So it's
Mm-hmm.
basically him dreaming about having a family, and then that night he's basically visited by this dark entity and says, oh hey, I've got this I've got two options for you. Essentially, he said, you know, you can go on with life. It's kind of like the Matrix option. It's just like you can, you know, flip a coin and go for something completely different or stay with the same. Either way, I'm going to haunt you in your dreams at night. But yeah, if anybody's interested, I could pull that up or send the link. But I
Oh,
spent
show us.
probably 800 hours on this claymation and never promoted it at all. Um, so like this piece here, I just gave to my friend. She came over. It was one of my earliest
Marbling.
abstracts, and she said, "See, I really like this one, and I know you're gonna be a famous artist one day, so I'll just take it." But yeah, she took that back in like probably early 2020. That painting, it's in her
Right.
bathroom. But again, I love all the bright,
Mm-hmm.
super like in your
Right.
face kind of like colors, like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also like to create things that you people can just stare at and kind of get lost in it. Like, what was she thinking when she painted this? You know, where was her head?
Right. I mean, you know, and it is. First of all, it's like a, you know, it's a marbling, happy place of bright colors, and brightness brings positive energy, you know. And so I could totally see this. And I just finished doing a whole bunch of marbling, which I love to do, you know. And so it's just awesome to see these colors blend into each other and create their own shapes and their own movements. I think that's one of the things I love about abstract, is because it means something. Well, most art means something to every single person, but you go look at it and you're like, okay, and you see something totally different in it versus seeing a portrait. And no disrespect to you portrait artists, but you're like, okay, I see this woman, right? With abstract like this, you're like, okay, hey, I see this little shape over here, or I see this one over here. You're just happy with the colors. And I'm a lover. I love to be call myself an abstract artist, but this just makes me so happy. It's so bright and so cheery, and there's a beautiful blend of color, my friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I have just stacks and stacks of canvases. I had really hoped to get a lot more of them, you know, updated. I've just had a great, and I see all these faces portray sadness to me. And
Right.
fennel, yes, you are very, very accurate. I have had just a
The last
lot
one.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't consider myself a sad person, but I think when I paint, I let my the sadness and the anger and the frustration and anxiety out. It truly is my catharsis. You know, whatever feelings I am like bottling up that I don't feel like I can kind of share with anyone without kind
Yeah.
of diving too deep into parts that I'm not ready to get rid of yet. I
Mhm.
just put into my paintings, and it lessens the intensity of the emotion, I'd say.
Right.
So yeah, the big
And
face that looks really, really sad, the female face with the big
we've
nose.
got a full picture of her coming up, guys, and we can show base on this. But I did a whole set after adopting my children and learning what they went through and reading all their things. I did a set called The Motions. And there are some ones that are like, oh my gosh, people are like, yeah, you know, you're gonna cry when you see it. Well, I was crying when I was making it, trying to find an avenue for what was built up inside of me. How do I do darkness? How do I do rage? How do I do sorrow? You know, and try to work through this as I sing these kids work through this. And so I
You
completely
said you
understand that.
adopted? You adopted all your
I did.
children? Oh my
Yeah, medically
goodness.
fragile children, and yeah, severely abused. So yeah, I have three
Oh,
of them. They're
you're a
siblings.
saint, lady. That is wonderful. And
Thank you.
you
But
work with them with art,
I
with each of
did.
them.
Yeah, they're all adults now. But I got them when they were very, very young. And so, you know, toddler kind of ages and a little bit older. But it was rough on them. And kids don't know how to understand. They know the pain, they know the feelings, but how do you express that and work through that? Art, guys. It really, really helped them in all different kinds of things, from dancing to drama to costumes to art to chalk and whatever I could find, you know, even cooking. I'm like, we are going to work through that. But yeah, I love it. I love
That's
it.
incredible. How many children did you adopt?
Three. Three.
Three. Were they siblings?
Yeah.
Or oh no, they were
Yes.
siblings. Wow.
Yes.
I would love to hear your story. Maybe I'll host you so you can tell your story. That's very, very, that's very cool.
Well,
Very
we
cool.
are going to show you because we have these by herself, and I know you called her the Alice in Wonderland afterwards, but we have a picture of her just by herself, guys, and she will be able to tell us all about that, because you know, not every painting is happy little flower, and no disrespect to that, but a lot of us are working through something or
Yeah.
telling a story, you know, and so that is
Yeah.
great. You know, that's great. It's,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, that's why they have art therapy out there, guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So tell us
this
about
this
this
one
one.
was very, very, very therapeutic for me. This rooted to earth, but reaching for the sky. Because it was my reminder to stay grounded. Because sometimes I just felt like there was so much going on in my head that I could not stay present. And so that's what that painting is. That's actually sitting beside me. I was kind of tinkering with that one today. It has I think a lot more clouds in it now. I don't know if anybody can see that. Or wait, I'm doing the wrong way. Um, and on the back of this one, it says, "Do you live in past, present, or future tense?" And on it, it says, "As below, as above, so below." Humility. I have. I'd like to add words into my paintings. And
Me
serve. I
too.
actually have serve in here because
Oh, nice.
I do feel like I'm very much called to serve humanity. And for me, it's creating art with message.
Mhm.
Here's another cuckoo one that I don't think that I've actually ever posted because I hadn't finished this is my matrix painting. So there's a big,
Right?
can I see? I don't know, the big white rabbit in the middle,
Oh
and
yeah.
all kinds of kooky, my signature kooky like bubbles and things. But yeah, I've got a lot of like the Alice in Wonderland kind of uh Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka. It's kind of like that fantasy land where different things become possible when you're existing inside of that kind of made up reality.
Right.
So that's yeah, it's probably my safe childhood space now that I'm really considering, what painting, creates for me. It's kind of like 'cause they're always very cartoony, and I don't do a lot of super serious looking pieces. They're well, I guess they're serious, but they're not,
They're just
you know,
yeah.
you know
They're
what
not
I'm trying to say.
photorealistic. Yes.
Realist, thank you. Yes,
Right.
realist.
Right. Real quickly, Frosty says Sienna should join Artist Corner so she can see all these. She is in Artist Corner, guys, over there on X. So just they're wanting you to post your stuff in our Artist Corner community on X so they can see more of your work. So just
Oh,
let
I'll post all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
there you
I would
guys
love to.
go.
I'm just not good at promoting myself. It's very, very like ooh, like almost uncomfortable and awkward for me
Well, we
to
do
say,
the
"Oh, hey,
same thing,
look at me." I know, but this is so
right?
helpful for me, lady, because I'm
Well,
very good at
yeah,
promoting other people, promoting myself. It's
it's
always
hard. It's one of our
it's really
biggest
hard.
flaws. But one thing that we do, and you can post whatever you want to any single day, guys. Yeah, there's no rules, but I come up with a theme every single day. So it's like a work in progress Wednesdays or a throwback Thursdays or my favorite art piece on Friday that we create. Not a master, our favorite art piece of our own. So you can just sit there and go, okay, and just title it and whatever, and just go. And then I just share it out on all my different platforms that I can. That's what I do with our Artist Corner family, guys, is I try to share you guys out there. So at least, we got 8 different channels that are seeing you guys. So, but I love this too. Look at this trunk. Look at how these roots are just going in. Look at the vibrance. That is so beautiful. Such a beautiful piece. I love
Thank
this.
you so much.
You're welcome. All right. So we're done with the little collages. Now you guys get to see each piece up close. I love the collage idea too, because it shows you sometimes, and that really inspired me before we move on, because my pieces are so massive. People kind of just look at the main piece and whether they like it or not. Oh, okay. Where they don't zoom in and see the tiny little details. And I'm like, I love that. And I might have to do that with some of my pieces because you're like, you're missing out on a
Yeah.
million things that are going on in that painting because you just look at it and go, okay, and move on. So that just a tip for you guys, if you want them to see certain details, do a little collage like we just saw. I'm going to show you this one here again. Just do a little collage so that you can see certain moments inside that piece and just go ahead and highlight that. It's a brilliant tip.
And I
And
think
maybe
that's a free app. It's called Pick Collage is the one that
okay,
I use. Pick Collage, and it has all the you can pick any of the segments. Like if you want 3 segments or 10 segments,
love that.
and it has all these different configurations. So yeah, it's really an interesting way. You could actually probably split apart your painting, but reconfigure it in these
Mhm.
collages just with the border. It'd be really cool.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that idea. That so you guys, it's a great tip. We love to give you guys advice out there. So if you do something like ours or whatever, and you want certain things noticed inside, because a lot of people have little tiny things all over their painting that might not get noticed. So tell us it's called Pick Collage, and there you guys
Pick
go.
Collage. Pick Collage.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Tell us about this one. That eye is done so great. Go
Oh
ahead.
my gosh, that eye just kind of came out of nowhere, but I love the story that, it's kind of like what is that eye looking at? That's
Hmm.
that's why I really focus. I mean, that's actually just a small segment of a very large painting, but I don't know. I like the way it was highlighted. This piece looks like a broken carousel. I love these comments that are coming in. Yeah.
Right.
Thank
I'm
you,
just
everybody. Thank you, anyone who
right.
is commenting on my art, because I don't, I mean, I just never know. I don't
I'm
actually
just
show my art,
fascinated.
even if. even in my house, it just kind of sits gathering dust. So yeah,
I love doing eyes. You did this so well because if you guys just stop and take a moment to look at the blending of all those beautiful colors that is going around and underneath this eye. But I do, the eyes to me is one of my favorite things to do because it's like that is your soul into the picture, you know? And this is
yes.
great. Continue on.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't really have any specific stories. This, I mean, it's definitely, you know, one of the pieces that helped me kind of like step into, I mean, I have a very unique style, I think, because I just, create all these like kind of like little floating bubbles and, weird shapes with things, images that kind of pop out of it. But yeah, it's just something to get lost in for me. And I don't know why eyes are always at at the center of everything that I create. I mean, pretty much almost every painting I've created, whether there's a face or not, there's lots of
Right?
eyes. I mean, some of my paintings have hundreds of different eyes in them.
Wow.
So
I love it. You got a signature, I mean, that's
yeah,
really awesome. And it's done so well. It's so neat. And it's a lot of fun, guys. I mean, I just, I love abstracts because it can be all kinds of whatever. It could be dots, it could be circles, it could be different shapes, lines, movement, and then just make a little something out of these areas. It's just really awesome. Absolutely awesome.
thank you.
Very
I've
nice.
never done an acrylic pour. I'd be
Oh,
very curious.
I'll have to show you and talk to you about doing that because that is so easy. It literally you just cups and you pour and you move and it's awesome. It's really awesome. It comes out with an amazing. I did them for Christmas gifts and made a lot of people some little coasters with that. Built the coasters. Well, my husband cut them, but I sanded them and I did these pours and it's just so much fun. Messy, but
Yeah,
so much
that's yeah. The messy part is probably what's kept me from doing it.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, then tell us about this one.
This one, oh my goodness, this is another painting I gave to a very good friend of mine. This is a piece of my favorite painting that I've created, and it's very much kind of like the beginnings of time, like the origins of all. It was, and like the apple with Adam and Eve,
Right,
was very much kind of at the center of it. There's the larger picture actually has, of course, a giant eye and like a very large fish, and then a mother holding her child on the left side. Most of my paintings, the larger format paintings, it's all, and when they come to me, it's always like the beginning of time. Kind of like where we are currently, and then where things are going, and how we can infuse the most love and connection, kind of like in this current stage, moving forward. So they kind of always start with dark and
mhm,
end with more light. And no offense to the men out there, they always start on the left side with a more patriarchal kind of overtone, and then they move more into a feminine overtone, because it's I don't know. It's all, everything is always darkness to light to me. It's kind of heavy to more uplifting. Is our minds, at least in countries that read left to right. It's like from left to right, you're moving forward. You're moving from one place to the next, but it's always this forward progression. And to me, I think that a more feminine kind of like divine energy is necessary right now to kind of balance out the chaos and the struggle in the world. So I infuse a lot of that into my paintings as well. And if you really pay attention to kind of like how each painting, specifically with the larger format ones, that the left is always kind of dark and heavy and rooted in kind of chaos and destruction, and like it's more of a fight. And then as it moves towards the right, there's more flow and balance and harmony. So not that men are all chaotic and destructive, but it's more, it's like brawn to flow, if that makes sense. Yeah, so
very
that's one of those paintings. Yeah, the large image of that is actually one of my favorites, and I don't know if I sent it to you, but
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
Okay, I gave that painting to a friend of mine. I'll try to pull it up.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm so sorry. I've been so disorganized this week. I am so honored to be the highlight tonight. It's just a crazy week. My husband of 22 years and I just literally split, and I moved into a new room this week. So it's been, this huge process of, moving basically everything I own. So all my canvases are kind of in a pile in the corner, and I'm still kind of, oh, there it is. That's the one. That's the one with the apple. Thank you. That's amazing that you just pulled that up. So
It was
yeah,
the
so
next one. Yes.
yeah, okay, there you go. So that's yeah, the apple you see up top kind of
Right.
in the right center. That's actually, yeah, I guess it's not the entire image. On the left there's like a mother holding her child, and then below that eye, that actually turns into a really cool fish later on in the painting, but I don't know, I just really like that one, and that was very much it's I'm not particularly a religious person, but I'm a very spiritually centered person, and this was kind of like kind of like a god element, a god like being, kind of putting, infusing light into the darkness. There's always that aspect of, light into darkness. So the tree is basically the tree of life. I have a lot of trees of life in my paintings, and kind of like, you know, being tethered and grounded in the earth, but also, reaching up towards the sky to um, try to find more, try to find a better path forward. So reaching for light. So everything's always reaching for light.
Oh, that's nice. That's something I post every day. I try to, guys. I've not been feeling well the past few days, but I always do be the light. That is one of my, and something I always say is I have here my my little banners as well, because it's important to be the light. And in a dark world, or whatever you want to call it, it's important to be the light. Shine the light. Shine your light. And I just love that. This is beautiful. The colors in this is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, that I'm gonna try to recreate those colors, because that, I don't know why that's my favorite of all the paintings I've done, but that is specifically that image. I don't know. It just makes me happy when I look. I don't think it probably makes anybody else happy, but one of my
No,
best
it's
friends, who's an
yeah,
incredible artist. I mean, she's painted like Lady Gaga and all kinds of famous people. She came in my house, saw it, and she grabbed it. I mean, I that happens a lot. I've never sold a piece of art, but I give away art anytime anybody likes something. But her art's hanging all over my house, and I mean, she's a famous artist in the Washington D.C. area. So, and she hung
right.
that in in her dining room, like right in the middle of her dining room. So, very honored by that, because
Yes,
she's got all these famous people, and she's met all the famous people she's painted images of, and she's got that painting right in the middle
nice.
of all these incredible paintings that she did. So, and she's also a
We
muralist, but she does, like 70, 80-foot buildings with, the scaffolding, and she'll spend months working on murals in Washington D.C. and the, Washington D.C. suburbs. So, yeah, and yeah, that's another. It's the same woman, just a different phase. I mean, this one, she's feeling kind of slighted and hurt by the world, and um yeah, it's just the pain and the struggle that she is trying to process while putting on her best face. It's which women, and men are prone to do this too, but I think women really take on a lot of the weight of the struggle of others. I think men, kind of infuse themselves in the struggle to try to ensure that things, work out. But women are the ones who kind of like hide the quiet struggle, and that painting is very much just the quiet struggle of women who feel seen or not seen, misunderstood, not who don't feel heard, who don't feel like they are part of um, the overall dynamic of what's happening. They feel like they have to kind of like stay back in the peripheral, and it's kind of like the seen but not heard, but processing. I'm just looking at her eyes and remembering what I was emoting when I felt that. But yeah. And for faces, I'm not great with like pure symmetry. So, I like to do like kind of like very um I don't know, unusual shaped faces. So hence the
I
very
love
long
that.
nose and kind of like bizarre chin and shape. But I think she's changed a little bit since then.
Very,
But yeah, thank you.
very. You're welcome. I do. Yeah. One of these days we'll compare. We'll just, when you post something like this out, I'll match it with something else. We'll tell little stories about that. But I love that. I love all about it. I love that she's not perfect, that she's got a quirkiness about the way you've created her. And I think that gives her so much character. It's excellent. Absolutely
Thank
excellent.
you. Thank you.
And those
Thank you.
too. You're welcome. Okay. What is it? This one must be another piece of something.
Yeah, that's actually, it's so funny. You're picking these paintings that that's, I
You
believe,
sent them to me.
I think
I just put
I
them in
was.
order.
Yeah, it's I think it's the order that I was picking them up today because I was
Right?
kind of trying to race to finalize things. But yeah, that this is more of a multi-dimensional piece. Each one of there's a lot of like, kind of rounded portals in that where, and I like to have it seem like you're going into it. It's almost, like there's depth to it, 3D,
Right.
or 40, I guess 40, I don't know. Anyway, it's, yeah, that there's nothing very specific about that one, but it's kind of yeah, I was just trying to
Like,
emphasize, yeah, like
yep.
what's underneath that crack, I mean, what happens when I kind of dip into the darkness there, what's on the other side. And I don't know. Yeah, there's no specific story on that one, but thank you for
Right.
putting these up. My goodness, I
You're
probably,
welcome.
yeah.
You're welcome. We love this, don't we, guys? Oh, and see, you guys are going to be freaked because she does so many different varieties here, from abstract to portraits, and I love them. I mean, you said before, right? Multi-medium, multi-talented. Sienna is in the house. All right, tell us about him.
Oh my goodness. So this was probably in late 2020 is when I started a bunch of portraits. And I wanted to represent people from kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
periods of life that, not periods of life, I should say, but um, who have an internal struggle that they are not. I mean, this is obviously an Aboriginal man from, probably Australia,
yeah,
the outback, and it's just the inner struggle. And maybe my portraits all portray a lot of sadness, but it's more. Um, the people who emanate just pure joy usually have, I mean, they've had to struggle to get there, but this, I like to
very
show the people whose character and authenticity kind of shines through because of their struggle. And I don't know, I created, I think it was probably 8 different portraits, and I tried to pick, different areas of the world that I thought were really complex and interesting. And you look at the person and you want to know their story. You want to know what they experienced
mm-hmm.
to be there. And I for the most part, I just make these people up. I mean, I definitely, use like some pictures just as a
Right.
guide to make sure that I have the
Right.
coloring right, the right whatever. But yeah, I loved him. He was like a sage elder to me. And I really connected with him when I painted him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had a name for him. I think his name is Fred. But yeah.
Right. No, it does remind me of some of the wonderful people I met when I was in Australia. So I totally see this. And then the lines and the character in the face, I have a totally different one, but I included it. It almost looks like lightning on one of my pieces. But to create that, I love that you just make them up out of your head, with some reference pictures, because I do the same thing. These people aren't real. It's just kind of what I hope to create to that, and I see that through this. But I love the character in the lines of the face, and it's beautifully done. The highlights of the hair, just amazing. And I agree with you over there, Kim. It does look like Strength and Wisdom. I think it's a beautiful piece too.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Strength and wisdom. I love it. Yes, strength and wisdom. That is, yeah. I saw him as kind of like the patriarchal kind of lead of his tribe, the one
Right?
who people go to because they're like, all right, yeah. If anybody's seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, there's a character Red, and it's just like, oh, everybody goes to Red because he's the one who's in the know. He's the one
Right?
who's got the answers. He's the one who's got the solutions. So um, that's who this guy Fred was to me. Yeah.
I love it. Phenomenal piece, isn't it, guys? I'm glad you guys agree. Very nice. All right.
Okay. And this is, yeah, just so this one goes deep for me. When I had my awakening, it was on April 3rd, 2019. On April 8th, 2019, I had another calling. I mean, I received callings through these experiences, and it was to go to a Buddhist monastery that's right down the street from me. And so I went there on April 8th, 2019, and this little Thai nun greeted me at the door. There were no cars in the parking lot, but she had the long orange robes on and the shaved head. And it kind of like, I didn't force my way in there, but I said, I was called to be here, kind of thing. And I went in and wound up having another very profound spiritual experience inside this monastery. And yeah, I painted this as a result. And it's funny, it was two women who were talking to me in there, but when I decided to paint a monk, this is the image that came out, and I kind of love him. I just again, they're never, I mean, my faces are never very symmetrical, but I think that's kind of what makes them fun.
I don't think our faces are very symmetrical. Have you ever looked at
Yeah,
your own face? I mean, one ear's lower, eyes
yeah,
are lower, right? I mean, I mean, we're made perfectly, don't get me wrong, but we're not perfectly symmetrical. That gives us character, and I love this. The eyes in this, I just love so much about this, but I think those eyes are just so golden, so you can like just see, like you're going to see a journey right through those eyes. Everyone, look at how beautiful those are.
thank you. I just realized how, yeah, they're not symmetrical at all, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost seems boring to me to make both sides exactly the same.
Exactly. Well, it's not realistic. I think when people see that too, they would know, wait a minute, it would come off, I think, unrealistic if that was the case. You guys
Yeah.
can do that if you want to, but this looks more natural, the way that people are created. We've all got all these different crooks and lines and whatever, and it's awesome. That's what's great about being human. I love it, but I'm with you guys. Yes, those eyes and those lips. Two of my favorite things to create too are that's what I always start if I'm going to do any kind of a person. It's eyes and lips.
Eyes and
I just
lips.
love this.
Yeah.
Great coloring in the skin tone as well too. Beautiful blending in
Thank
this.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, tell
Um,
us about her.
Ooh, that's a crazy neck in that one. Yeah, again, it's just she's just someone who came to me, and she looks a little haunted, I know, but I definitely process, I think, a lot of grief when I paint. And this was yeah, I definitely painted her during the COVID lockdowns as well, when there was just a lot of kind of uncertainty with what was going on. I have three kids. I was homeschooling, basically at the time. And it was just, everything just seemed, I don't know, like too much in the wrong direction. It's like everybody was heading in one, like, you know, identifiable direction, whatever that is for each individual person. But when COVID happened, it's just like, well, no, everything's going to stop. You need to do an inner deep dive, whatever that is, whatever it looks like for you, and figure out, where this is going. And yeah, this is one of the pieces where I was kind of getting a lot of darkness and sadness out. And yeah, I think I've fixed her neck since then. I kind of like her neck gone cuckoo though, like that though, actually.
Right? I agree. I had, a painting at that time too. It was multiple different faces, all kind of, you know. It was a great time to paint, guys. Well, we didn't have much else to do, but a great time to,
Yes.
again, creating, whether you are writing or painting or sculpting, it is therapeutic. And when you have so much trauma and stress built up inside of you, that's one of the reasons I started wanting to do this, is releasing the stress and finding a way for people not only to speak, because again, you're now on an online environment, you're not speaking to your neighbors, everybody's isolated. So to create a community where we can all become friends and family per se, and share art and work through this together, it was brilliant. Now that I have, like I said, over on Truth, I have 600 plus, and we now have 75 on X, but we're new to this. We're getting more. But it's, and share these stories, share this amazing work with others, and I love that you're telling the story. It's amazing. It's absolutely great. Let's see what
Thank you.
she's
I'm
right.
just so excited to be here.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
This is going to
Awesome.
give me confidence to do more with my art. I'm
Good.
actually
That's what I
considering,
like.
yeah, there's DC restaurants that will just, this is, oh my gosh, this is one of my husband's best
Wait, wait,
friends.
wait.
He was
Before you get onto this, because you made a good point. I was a chef before all of this, guys, for 25, almost 25 years. And I have said this multiple times. There's a lot of your artwork that I would have bought and put in the restaurant. So if you guys are trying to sell your artwork, or if you want to get your artwork out, go hit a restaurant, go hit an office, go hit different places, because you never know. These might be absolute clients for you. Okay, now go
I
ahead.
love, yeah, I love that. Yeah, there's a lot of DC restaurants that will
Mhm.
accept, an entire show basically.
Yes,
And
yes.
there's a couple that, I mean, they don't even keep any of it. They just like having the art up there, and they'll give
No,
you, all the proceeds for it. So it's kind of brilliant. This,
oh, you'll have
yeah,
to share that with me via DM or something like that, because I'm pretty close to that as well. And I'm always looking for avenues to share my artwork out as well.
oh
Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
let's definitely connect over that, because my friend who I said was the DC artist, she's the resident artist at a place called Busboys and Poets in DC. There's multiple different
Nice.
locations, and she's the muralist. But I'm going to be working through her to get some of my art in Busboys and Poets around the Washington DC area, and then there's another one called Art Wino, which used to be in
Yes.
DC and now it's in, I believe, Arlington, Virginia. But the owner of that restaurant actually is also an architect and helped, redesign our house. So, I definitely recommend finding, figuring out what your ends are and kind of working that angle, until you can get your confidence. So that's the way I'm going to start it. This
Okay, I
painting
have a
though,
question for you. I have a question from the audience. What is Sienna's favorite to paint? The abstract or a portrait? I think I know
I
the
would say
answer.
abstract.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the portraits I did like one stint of it. Thank you for that question. This one I actually painted for the wife of this is one of my husband's best friends. He died of cancer a few years ago, and my husband is a big mountain biker, and this is the leader of the mountain biking group, and they had been mountain biking for years and years, and he developed cancer and was dead within like months. It was horrific. He was like 6'4", this very, big, like very manly man. And that was his favorite picture of himself. So I was like, I'm just gonna paint it for his wife, who was a very good friend of ours. So yeah, I gave that to her at his funeral. His name, he went by Magnus. But yeah, I always love that, because he had really big expressive eyes. And I
Mm-hmm.
just thought that was such a cool hat that he had on.
Right?
There was
I
some festival or something, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And you're right. I love it that your eyes are so expressionate, and they just stand right out. And the fedora is awesome. What a great gift. Another great thing for you guys to do is creating something for a loved one, a friend or something to remember. You did a beautiful job on this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I love the marbling. Oh my God. So much fun. So when you
Yeah.
do this, I have a question for you. So it's a little dab here, a little stroke here, a little whatever. This is not a pour, guys. This is literally, I think, stroke by stroke, correct?
Stroke by stroke, yeah. I like a lot of multi-directional. Yeah, I don't know if I sent you one that has evolution in the word, but it's kind of the same thing. It's just I like to do large sweeping, kind of brush strokes, and then I'll take markers in and do, kind of like more detailed, lines over top of those. But I love a lot of movement in my abstract pieces, and yeah, the one that shows this the most is a piece. I think it says evolution on the bottom. It's hanging in my dining room right now, but it's and it actually has a lot of people in it. This one I don't think has people in it. It's more like a wave kind of. I talk about the ripple effect a lot,
Right.
and to me, this kind of is creating ripples that turn into waves that turn into bigger effects of kind of like flow and movement and motion.
Yeah. So how your paintings aren't really I should say that big. I mean, they're not like a 3x4, like 4 feet. So when you do these, I mean, these are probably pretty small paintbrushes, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually have a canvas in my lap, actually. It's
Okay.
very rare that I use, large. Well, I do have some big pieces, like the one I did of Elon Musk. That was I think 3x5 or something, 3 feet by
Yeah.
5 feet. But yeah, it's very rare that I do large paintings. And actually, the image that you use that has kind of the fish in the sky, the fish is a cloud,
Yeah.
and the face coming out of the wave. It's probably 4 feet wide. So yeah, but for the most part, I just use canvases that fit my 18 by 24. I'd say is my most common um, size, just
Nice.
because I like having it in my lap,
Right.
working
There
on
you
it.
go.
Yeah,
Go on
yeah.
to that question. I think that was over there. Um, right. Yeah, it does look like a pour, but it is small brush strokes, beautifully done and blended. I struggle with small ones. If and I do, you guys know, I've done like a 9x11 or whatever, and 9x12 or whatever, and I give those out, some gifts and stuff. But that's a struggle for me. I'm like a 3x4. Is my favorite. All the ones behind me are 36x40. So I
Wow.
love big paintings. For me, it's easier. Just
Do you work on many at the same time, or
I
you
I
just focus on
don't.
one at a time?
I don't. Sometimes it's a struggle. I really have to be in a certain mood or a certain tone. It's interesting because when I was in school and I was going through my undergrad and my graduate schooling, and I just graduated 2020 after the years of being a chef, it was the kids that started it. I wanted to tell these emotions, or I wanted to tell stories that people didn't know. I really dived into human trafficking because that's the world my kids came through.
Oh
And
my
I
goodness.
really want to tell about these things. Like, I have an amazing picture on rape culture, but nobody wants to see it because it's mortifying. I mean, it's beautiful,
Sure.
but it's still mortifying just telling a story. But no, these take me like months. I am trying to do something happy. It's a stained glass picture right now. You guys have seen it with the roses and hummingbirds, and it's a 40x40. And I just got to finish glazing it, and then going over it with my top glazing. But yeah,
Now, are
because
you in your
some
studio right now? Is this
I'm
is
in
this
my
just
office. This is not
you're in
my
your
studio.
okay.
Where I hang them, I switch them around depending on them. Just doing some abstracts behind me. I always have I call it my most famous piece because it was my very first statement piece. It's the one that's been in most galleries, and I'll probably never let it go. And that's this one over here. But
Oh wait, can you scroll in on it?
um, can you see? There you go. Can you see it up here in the corner?
My
Right
eyes are
here.
so bad.
I'll share a picture with you because
Yeah,
this is not
I
that
would love
big.
to see. I would love to see it. Oh, and Kitty's coming up to say hi. Hey,
There's her
Kitty.
show. You guys have all seen Justice before. All right. So tell us
Oh,
about this.
this one looks like what is it called? Aliens or something. So that's actually like an AI algorithm. So you see the head at the top,
Okay.
and if you scroll, I mean, not that you need to scroll in, but that's essentially an kind of an AI being, and then all of its interior algorithm inside of its structure, and it goes down to like almost like the center, like a baby in the middle, but it's like the internal combustion system, the internal operating system of kind of like what is like leading humanity forward to like this new technological age to me.
Yeah,
I focus a lot on AI, automation, robotics, things like that, and what is going to be doing, um, in the next decade or so, and it's going to be replacing a lot of jobs. So to me,
I know.
what are people going to do with their time? I'm like, start creating.
Well, and
you
it's
know,
already doing that for us. So I am not a fan. I am not, and
yeah, oh yeah, I'm not a
haven't
fan of
spoken
AI
yet.
art at all.
Right, and
Um,
I know it, and I have a show coming up about that here because I don't only do art, but I mean that is my worry too. Because what are people going to do when it does take some jobs,
yeah.
and it does always come out with fun things like let's create some music, let's create some art. But what about the ones like us that spend weeks and weeks and days or hours to create something? So I'm hoping there's a real push for us real artists out there, because there is a difference.
Well, it's funny when the AI art first started coming out. I remember I mean, like years ago when Midjourney, somebody had submitted a Midjourney image and it won some contest. Do you remember hearing about this? I think it was in Texas or something. And it was a big deal because then people realized that it was AI generated. Because I mean, people didn't even realize that AI was creating art like that. And the guy just got absolutely blasted away. He's like, well, it didn't have that as like a requirement.
Right.
So all the rules changed after that. But I saw
Yep.
and I said, man, is this like the end of like right before I even get my art out there? Is it like obsolete? And I remember I sat on that for a couple of days and I said, there is no way. I said, if anything, people are going to get so sick of, because you can always tell when
Hmm.
it's not human generated, you can always
And they're
tell there.
flying,
I mean,
right?
there's
They're
no way
flying.
that AI would create like, the weird stuff that I create. I don't think that it could. It wouldn't make sense to them. They create what makes sense and what it's programmed. What its programming allows it to do. So yeah. Anyway,
That's
I
why
think
they're
there's going to be a
people.
huge shift back to, and I think it's already
I hope
happening.
so. But that's why I said there's people like me that push really hard and show you guys off so much because I am a fighter to bring back arts in real artists to this world. Be like, look at how much love and soul goes into these works. Because you're right, you can totally tell, and it's easy. And somebody could get a printer, a poster, and it's whatever. But no, there's a lot, and I don't know if it could do this, and not completely. You could give it, and it might come up with some kind of abstract, but not the details like this without giving it word for word exact. I mean, you would have to tell, okay, I need 20 little beads going down here on the left side, and make sure you're putting,
Yeah.
you'd have to get such instruction to do that. But I love that this is her painting on AI and her feelings towards AI. Very nicely done.
Yeah. It's yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I love the movement in this one. It has kind of like gears.
I know,
It's
that's what I
just
was gonna say.
yeah.
It looks like it's moving it all around with those gears. I'm like, nice. Good.
Yeah. So my husband, like I said, is a big mountain biker, and I don't know that I think this definitely had the inspiration of when he is, out kind of like because they do these night rides. It's crazy. Every Wednesday night they've been doing this for like 20 years, where they go out every Wednesday night and just sit there and the woods of the Washington D.C. area, with their headlamps on, and I mean
Right.
they're just so tough. Not that this, screams toughness, but it's more like I don't know, it's like the rocks and the water and the flow of nature. And then the gears kind of like moving the being, whatever the energy is. And there's kind of like there's an eye, there's always eye shapes in my art, but there's a few kind of like hidden eyes in there. And yeah, I don't know. That one's around here somewhere. Yeah, that was a quick one. I probably only spent a few hours on that one.
Nice.
Yeah, some of mine I spend, hundreds of hours on. This is one more, and actually the quick ones usually turn out kind of better because the colors don't get so muted. Some of
Right.
my paintings have literally hundreds of layers of paint, and I'm not kidding, hundreds of layers of paint on them.
Nice. Love
Yeah, I have paintings that are so heavy, they look, just like a regular canvas. When you pick it up, it's like you can feel the weight of the paint.
that. right?
I'm surprised they don't just turn to mud. They probably will in a few years. I don't know.
my, my mural was so heavy that my husband had to put casters on it so it could roll, and handles, because and he put
Oh,
balances on it, because it was, I mean, one side was tiled, the other side had so many layers of paint. He's like, this thing is just gonna fall. I'm like,
very
thank you so
cool.
much for that. But you do, and it's just awesome. But it creates the texture, guys. And that's a great thing too. When I go out to a museum, I love to like literally look without touching, because don't touch the art people's art. But you look and you can see the texture and how much thickness is coming off that canvas. It's really neat. And you guys are cracking me up over there on Rumble. Yeah, I did yell. Somebody put up a banana with duct tape and called it art, and I went off. I'm like, that is not art.
Oh, and it didn't
But
it
you guys
sell
are
for
cracking
like
me up.
millions of dollars? A banana
Yes,
with duct tape?
I'm like, right. I mean, there's just certain things I'm like, okay, no.
I mean, what I don't understand that at all. I mean, the Banksy thing where he shredded a painting I thought was
Yes,
brilliant. But a banana
right,
duct taped to a
right.
wall, I mean, come
You
on.
know,
How can you take that
I
seriously?
I was a gallery when I went to grad school in New York City, and I was at this gallery that my professor had taken us to, and it was like, these different. I don't know. They're probably 18 by 20, 20 by 22. You're not very big, guys, but it's like you could have taken a roller, and they were solid colors, not even like in a rainbow formation or anything. Just but rainbow colors. One was red, one blue, yeah. And it's like you could have just taken a roller, and they were selling for $250,000 each, and they were sold. I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, I was so upset. My professor's like, calm down. I'm like, I can literally just take a paint roller and do this. Do you know how much work I put into these things? And he's like, calm down. And I'm like, and it's a nobody. I'm like, they must have family or something. I don't know. But there's sometimes I just go off on what's art. You back to this one. You're right, Nancy. This one is very pretty. I love it. Absolutely awesome, isn't it, guys? Look at the vibrance. Look at the vibrance. This one, I don't know, something about this
This
one
is
kind of reminds me.
neurographics. This is
Is
this
it?
is actually, yeah, this was one of the first ones I used neurographics with. So
Painted
yeah, so
rocks.
it's yeah, it's the squiggly lines from top to bottom, side to side, and
Right.
then you kind of soften. Yeah, I always
Love
like
it.
to try to add like dimension to it,
Well, when I say painted rocks, and it's the rocks that are like bright colors that you see in crystal clear water. Have you seen those lakes? I know some of you guys have done the paintings with that, with the different beautiful colors of rocks. I love to collect rocks, and so when I see that, that's my opinion on this. I don't know what you guys think of this one, but the vibrance is beautiful,
it does look like rocks.
right?
I had not looked at it that way, but yeah. I would recommend that format or that style for anybody. Truly, like it doesn't matter how long you've been an artist, or if you've never been an artist, is to just pull up neurographics because it really, yeah, I think that actually it says 25 on it, so that must be a newer one. I've done a bunch like that, so I guess
That
that's
is a great
interesting.
prompt. You guys, coming up, I think it's next week or whatever. I do a paint and sip and invite artists to come paint live. What a great prompt. Be like, all right, just gonna paint lines and do whatever in abstract, and you gotta fill it in. I think that is an awesome prompt. So you guys might get ready if you ever want to join a paint and sip. We go live on air and I show you guys off that way too. But I love that. I love that idea.
The great thing about that is, I think I mentioned earlier, my father-in-law lived with us. He had very advanced dementia. I mean, I had to introduce myself to him every morning. I was
Mhm.
essentially his primary caregiver, and I mean, he did not know what things were from one moment to the next. Oddly enough, my mom is living in the basement, and she has advanced Alzheimer's, so the same thing. But this was a way for us to kind of connect, and his art was actually really good, and I mean, like my mom was an artist for, and I'm not kidding, she was an art and graphic illustrator, like one of the top artists for USA Today for over 30 years. And if she was to create art now, and it's very sad, she can't even really do it. So the fact that my 90-year-old father-in-law was able to create, and I'll have to pull up the images of what he created, but it's just a really cool way to
Love
get your
that.
creative juices out. So
Love
anyway,
it. Oh, I
and
love it. All
jelly
right,
beans, I love that, looks like Easter candy and jelly beans.
guys. Guys,
I think
be
this one is
prepared.
is primarily colored pencils.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah,
Love
Yeah, I
it.
believe, yeah, there's a little bit of paint and a lot of colored pencils on that one. So,
Fun. A lot of
yeah.
fun. Awesome. Okay, tell us about this one.
This one. So, this is actually part of, let me see what this is part of. Yeah, it's like the red pearls of kind of wisdom. They're almost like cherries and pearls of wisdom. Kind of, this is more of like something, up in the, in the night sky kind of thing. It's like twirling, I don't know, like planet is, I remember feeling it as if I was floating through space, and I was just kind of being surrounded by knowledge, and kind of like the feeling that everything is connected and that I was safe. But it's just like, this huge, I don't know, I've got a whole matrix theme to a lot of my things, and this is very much, just kind of being unplugged from the 3D world and kind of like going up into more of a universal consciousness and kind of floating around and seeing what was coming towards me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. I love it too. Absolutely beautiful with the contrast, guys. Don't you just love that? Very nice. Very nice. I think it's chip. Oop, there we go. Right? Yes. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, if you guys are over there on X, make sure you guys comment whatever. We have like 58 people watching us over on X. Make sure you guys include your comments. We'll show those as well. And thank you guys for joining us. Love this.
And thank you everyone for
Oh,
being here. I am just like, oh, this one's hanging in my living room. And this one, yeah, I mean, people people keep talking about the sadness. This one is more, yeah, like the stormy, and the processing of the storm, and moving to light. So obviously the left side is like this dark raging storm, and there's this rock wall that's basically creating a wave that doesn't make sense. So if you look at the wave actually has a face coming directly out of the center of it. It's a very large female face. So it's like the forehead, um like at the top area under the fish, and then it goes down to like her chin. But this to me is kind of like again, it goes back to almost like a biblical kind of story, although there's no religious connotations per se, but kind of like the fish of life, the water. I had 3 water births. So I had 3 home births all in water, and this is very much kind of like the mother nature coming from below, to rise above, like as above so below kind of thing. So yeah, I there's probably a lot more interesting things I could say about it, but those are all the good words that are coming to me to use right now. So, um, yeah, my daughter's kind of on and off again boyfriend wants to buy this one from me, and I'm like, I don't even know how to price this thing, and I kind of want to give it to him, but I spent a lot of time on it, so and I've already given him another painting, so I don't know. Yeah, I'd love
hey,
to throw that
I looked
question
it up.
out. How do you price?
Well,
How would you price something like this?
I looked this up and I said for like beginning artists and whatever. So okay, I'll take that. Most beginning artists, you should average about $1 to $1.50 per square inch.
Oh,
So there you go. I'm like, okay.
I have not heard that one.
And so I mean, when you just kind of I googled it and did some research, I'm like, okay, that's beginning artists. All right, and then it ranges because a lot of your professionals and so forth might range into $5 to $10 per square inch, depending. And this is where you get into your hundreds of thousands or whatever, But that is really kind of interesting. So
That's
depending on your
great.
size, and then you can go from there. So all right, if you guys got a very large canvas, but it makes sense too. I mean, if you're going to be shipping like one of my pieces just to ship the thing, it's hundreds of dollars. People
Yeah,
don't really realize that, and now all the
yeah,
hours. I mean, like to just do one of these. I mean, the one I keep talking about, it took me a semester. That's 3 or 4 months, guys, just to do the one. Now, granted, I had 6 classes full time and 3 medically fragile children and a family, but it did. It took me that long. So you have to, and hundreds, like you said, of hours putting into that. So there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I
There's an
didn't
idea.
know if I love that because somebody else had said, oh, just factor in $15 to $20 an hour. And I'm like, ooh, I mean, if I had to sit there and figure out the hours, I mean, I don't know if I could do it, but I just know it's a lot.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm very, it's going to take a lot for me to not get rid of my art selling it wise, but like actually taking money from somebody. I don't know. I don't know why it's such a weird thing for me. It's like I'd rather give my time away for free than charge for it. So I've got to get past it. I know I've got to get past it.
Right. I love this one. And it's always interesting how, I have to choose to do your promo and I always pick, but there's certain things that catch my eyes, and I love it. And not only was this panel, but the sky and the deep, beautiful colors in those clouds that were reflecting right into that ocean, it just grabbed me with that contrast with the lightning and the so forth going in the back. I mean, it was just really beautifully done. And this is why I chose this one. I mean, all of them are beautiful, but man, I just loved the colors, especially built into the sea and into the clouds. This is beautifully done.
Thank you. Yeah,
Beautiful.
that one's hanging in my office and it actually has an art light shining on it
Nice.
over the fireplace. So yeah, that one's
Awesome.
got a good place in the house for people to view it. So I don't really have a lot of my art hung. I am going to change that. This new room that I have is going to be absolutely jam packed with my art. I
Mine
think I'm
is
going to hang
too.
every single canvas. Yes, I love that. I see
Every
that
wall
behind.
I
Yeah.
have, right? And now I've got some in the closet because they're so big, though, too. Then my husband's like, you might want to start painting smaller because you think about it, I can only put 4 up on one wall because they're so big.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. No, do it up. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, tell us about this.
Oh, that one I just painted within the last month. So I went to my girlfriend. There's a place called In It Little Washington, which is it's about an hour from. It's not like Washington D.C. It's Washington, Virginia, but it's this very famous restaurant. Have you heard of it, Lady? In a Little Washington.
I have not.
It's one of
I live in
the
Virginia.
it's one of the top chef kitchens, I think, in
Really?
the world, or it was at some point. But my one of my very best friends lives like next door to that, and I went to visit her last month, and we were doing like just like a fall driving through the leaves, picking apples kind of thing, and she's renting. A room in this old,
Okay.
super old house, and this a painting very similar to this was on the wall, and it takes a lot for me to get so moved by a painting. I'm like taking a picture and I'm like, I'm going to try to recreate that. But
Mhm.
that's what I did. I literally took a picture of the one that she had that was on the wall and came home. And that was my kind of like copy, my generic copy. Theirs was much better, but I think the one that she had on the wall was probably, a couple thousand. I spent maybe 10 hours on that painting. So it was just a quick and done, but I loved the clouds had like all these really rich colors. And then, yeah, the clouds were the story. The mountains were just kind of like, they were there to pull you in, but you're really focusing on the movement of the clouds. So
Nice, nice. I love it. Very, very cool. Isn't that beautiful?
thank
I
you.
agree. You're welcome. All
Oh,
right.
this is another. I don't know. I kind of go between landscapes and portraits and abstract, but yeah, this is actually it's a much bigger painting than that. But yeah, I like the layers. I like kind of like taking your eye into kind of like, okay, this is where I am, and let me go all the way back into the perspective. So. Honestly, this is just something I came up with. It's not like a real place, but that is kind of like a lake in the background, and just it's supposed to just pull you all the way back in,
Mhm.
and like get you into the painting. That
Right.
was my main vibe with this. And the larger image you will see has lots of eyes hidden in the landscape. Of course, me and my eyes. Um, but yeah, there's no real story to this one. It was just fun. It was just fun. I think I
Right.
created this last year.
Nice. Nice. I mean, that's the thing is to just branch out and try all different kinds of, different genres. I'm going to do abstract. I'm going to do portraiture. I'm going to do landscapes, just kind of see. But it is really beautiful. Really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I love this one
Thank you.
too. You're welcome. Okay, this is one of my favorites. This is the one that I think I first saw of yours, and I was like, oh, and you didn't send this one to me, and I was so surprised. I was like, are you serious? This is one of my favorites. I had to go grab it from your account because
Well,
when I highlighted you as artist of the day, I was like, I love this one. There it
well
is.
now, shoot, how do I'm trying to get this right
I
in the
see
middle.
it.
Now it says
Yep.
God.
Okay.
So this is
Oh, I
like, yeah. So, uh, yeah, I love this one too. I think I'm going to start doing more of the tree of life, because that's really, I don't know. I love doing roots. I
right.
love doing, yeah, I love
Oh,
doing the branches and kind of having them go in all these different directions. But, um, yeah, this one for me specifically is my kind of like journey towards understanding, higher consciousness, and um, this innate connection that every human being on the planet has, with a higher source intelligence. So, yeah, this is kind of my God piece, I guess.
nice.
And I have been trying different churches, different places. Like when I went to the Buddhist monastery, they kicked me out and told me I could never come back because I knew things that I should know. And I'm like, okay, isn't that kind of what this is about? Is like trying to figure out, the innate connection we have, not just what we've learned in books, or what we can prove. It's more the ethereal connection with all things, and that's what this is. And this painting, yeah, this is my most recent painting actually, and yeah, it's probably one of my favorites too. I love it, and it's going to have lots of hearts. I don't know. I probably won't add any like specific eyes to this one, but I like kind of like the swirling nature of it, just the movement and the flow. But yeah, thank you for focusing on this one. Um,
I
yeah, and
got you.
it's funny that those circles, they I was like, wow, that looks like God. I was like, it's meant to be God.
Mhm.
The second I said, oh, that
Right.
looks like God, it's like that's what it's meant to be. I'm like, okay, let me change
Right.
it. So I just changed that yesterday to say God.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't you love? I love those happy little accents. That's what I call them because you just never know when all of a sudden something appears and you're like, ah, all right, let me
Oh,
hone in on that or save it or fix it or
yeah.
whatever. And this was just so
How often
vibrant.
are
And I
you
do,
asleep, lady, and you're like, and you wake up, you're like, oh, I got to add that to that painting,
right?
because that's, yeah,
A
it's
lot
gonna make it
more
pop.
beforehand. A lot more beforehand, especially when I was active and going to school and whatever. Like right?
Yeah,
Or I
yeah.
put things backwards, and I had a professor. He's like, but because it was backwards, and I did a few like collage pieces where I put words in or something in, and I did it backwards. And he's like, but it makes it stand out. I'm glad you did that. I'm like, okay, happy little accident,
Very cool.
right?
Wait, have
So
you done a show on your own art?
I
I'd
have a
love to
couple
come do.
times. But
You,
somebody needs to interview me. I just usually sit up here and I'm just talking, and here's my art.
lady, I would love to interview you. I'm very good at interviewing other people. I'm very kind of awkward about people interviewing me, but I would love to do a show on you if you're open to
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, we can
seriously.
set this up for this, in January, and I'll reach out to you
And
and
I'll
have you
be a
come back
lot
on.
more prepared. I will come up with phenomenal questions because my life will be more settled by then. The last couple weeks have just been like, but yeah,
Sounds good. All right, guys, you got a show where she's going to be on my show interviewing me. It'd be really a lot of
yes,
fun. All right.
yes, that will be a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love it. Tell me about this one.
Uh, yeah, this is, oh my goodness. So my friend, my artist friend in DC, she had she was about to have an art opening, like 2 weeks after she asked me to paint this thing, where she had created digital, or not digital, pixelated images of famous people. This is what she does. She creates, portraits of famous people, and then gets a whole lot of attention for it. But, she had like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, and, like a lot of people that she had created these pixelated
Cool.
images of. And she puts a lot of work into, creating what she does. But what she does is on a computer, and then she prints it out on these huge canvases. But she gave me this one because she said, Sienna, everybody hates Elon but you. But I have this, this canvas of him. This is the one it's like 4x6 or 3x5, 3x5, I think.
Right.
So she happened to be at my house for like a ladies' night. We were drinking, and she said, Sienna, I've got to ask you, do you want to bring Elon? Do you want to make him more human? I was like, sure, I'll do it, because I'm like, um, I feel like I know Elon personally, just because I followed his path for so long.
Right?
And, he's really demonized, and he's really trying to do the right thing. So I was like, yeah, I'll add humanity to this one. So it's interesting. This is the only piece that I've ever had that hung in a gallery, and it hung for a month, and not one single person, even during they had like the reception with the wine and all this stuff, not one single person said a single thing about this painting, because everyone hates Elon Musk so much in my area. Isn't that phenomenal? Not
Yes.
one single, somebody would come over and they'd nod their head, and there were probably 60, 70 people at this reception, and they were all ogling over all of her pieces, because they were more, I guess, politically acceptable, but they'd come over and they'd kind of nod their head, and most people would sneer, and then they'd walk away. And I was just like, I mean, this is art. This is not me.
Right?
This is not like, oh my gosh, Elon Musk is, there was no specific, message of me promoting this man. I was just like, what's going on in his head? Like at the top, it says, think bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, yeah, there's all kinds of images inside of this image. There's actually a
Right.
picture of little X, his
I
son.
see that. Right?
Yeah, there's an image of like on his cheek, where it kind of goes up by the ear. That's actually a woman holding a baby, and that's because of his philosophy of, have more children, have
Right.
more babies.
Right.
But yeah, there's lots of little messages in the face. But yeah, I got to tell you, this is actually really cool, lady. And I actually asked Grok, the XAI's AI
Mhm.
about this, because when I was painting this, and I know when I painted it, I had a 2 week window to paint it. She gave it to me on like October 1st, and the show was like October 15th or something like that. Uh, yeah, a little over 2 years ago. But while I was painting it, I posted it to X. Do you know what happened?
Mm.
Like within 20 minutes or so, and I posted it, and I don't have a big account, it's not super small, but I'm not like a big known person. I don't have a lot of reach, but I mean, it was definitely the same day, Elon Musk posted just randomly, pixel perfect, when I
Nice.
had this, and that's literally the name of my painting,
Right.
but it was a pixelated image of him. And I asked AI when Grok came out, I said, what are the odds? Because it was actually able to pull up, like when I posted it, because XAI's Grok can pull up your X feed. It's kind of crazy.
Yes.
And when he put pixel perfect, he said, Sienna, there's the likelihood of him typing that, because it wasn't in like specific, it was just something random that he posted. It wasn't in response to anything. He said the odds are like 1 in a trillion, that he didn't see that painting. And I was like, well, that's really cool. So
Right.
yeah, I'm sure so many people paint things of him, so it's not that big of a deal. But I do think that he saw it, and he at least had eyes on and was like, okay, maybe not everybody hates me.
Right.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, art
We
I think
love
can
it.
can humanize as well,
Mm-hmm.
because we get locked in these kind of like divisionary distractions. And I don't know, if you just see a different perspective, sometimes it'll change it. And that's what I was trying to do. I really was just trying to kind of humanize and almost make him look childlike. So, but I don't know. Yeah, I've yet to hear a single comment about this one, and I don't even know where it is anymore. She took the entire show down, and it's probably sitting in her garage. So, but yeah.
We
Anyway,
love it. We love
yeah.
it, don't we, guys? Yes, we've got a few artists in our group too that do Elon, and I'm like, one thing that's smart about that too is whenever you're applying or whatever, the city is great about this too. I have some other artists that do this too. Is you post your artwork in the comments when you see something that aligns with your art. Post your artwork, guys. But I have Bob, I have Kate. Cindy does that. I mean, just you want to get your art out there, and seen. Just do that. So keep posting in Elon's comments. Be like, have you seen my pixel perfect? I know you have.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
I love it though. If you guys have not done anything pixelated, you need to try it. It's a really fun exercise.
Yes. Okay.
She
Oh,
is one of
this woman. I love
the.
this woman. Oh my gosh. I think she's the first like portrait, that I really put my time into, and I just loved her. She was kind of like a very maternal figure to me. She was like my best friend. I think when I was painting her, she's somebody I could talk to without judgment, and be like, "Girl, we got this," that kind of relationship. So, yeah, I loved her. I painted her in late 2020. And I'll tell you, here's another weird thing that happened while I was painting her and the Aboriginal guy Fred. There's a couple of portraits I was creating like all simultaneously. I would just kind of like switch one for the other. um, I received a premonition about January 6th, because it was coming up. I painted this in December of 2020. So, and I remember trying to sound the alarm, and this is when people were wearing masks and everybody was like, afraid to be around each other. I'm like, oh, I was like, people are going to die on January 6th. And it was just a very, very specific message to me. So these portraits that I was creating were meant to, and I'm remembering it now. When I started painting a whole bunch of them, I'm just like, we're coming at this from all these different perspectives, all from all around the world. I mean, everybody has different life experiences that bring them to, who they are and how they see the world. And if we can just, I was just trying to kind of like have a viral message for like we need to figure this out. This cannot be there can always be dialogue. There does not need to be violence. I mean, that was going to kind of be my messaging in all these portraits. And yeah, but it was literally like an almost, I was going to try to make it a campaign kind of thing, like a viral art campaign leading up to January 6th. And I remember my cousin, who's very like kind of, he was very entitled and snobby at the time, and he was in college. He was a young, just very very smug, um snotty guy. But he's in film, he was in film school, and like I needed somebody to help me, with my webpage and like, yeah, because I'm terrible at that. This is why I haven't updated any of the stuff. But when he came over and was taking, he's the one who was taking these images for me. Um, I told him about January 6th, and he told me that he thought it was crazy and da da da. I was like, people are gonna die. And I said, it's going, and I remember being, receiving the message that could potentially lead to civil war. And he said, what do you think you're going to do about that, Aunt Sienna? And I'm like, well, if some kind of like something, distracted people in a way that led to, understanding like the human connection with all of us, just enough, because it really doesn't take that much of kind of like an energetic shift towards going from, wanting to be in a state of outrage to wanting to be in a state of love. So how can we use art? I hope I'm not going too deep on that, but I mean,
Well,
because
no, I
he
know
he
that
got
we do.
angry. He got angry with me. He's like, I don't know why you think you're going to change anything. I'm like, I don't know why you think that you can't, or why you think it's impossible, because one person could change everything, with the right art message, with the right, like, it's something that people like, it makes them stop and they're like, oh, I don't have to be angry right now. There's something called the Maharishi effect, and I learned it in Transcendental Meditation. But it's essentially when a group of people comes together with a shared intention and meditation, that they can enact actual change, or in the area around them. And in Washington D.C., they did this with like 3,000 transcendental meditators that came to DC over the course of a month with a shared intention of lowering the crime rate in the Washington, DC region. And over the course of the month, they lowered it by 23%. So, lady, I would love to ask you this question. I've asked this question so many times. I've told that story so many times. But imagine, nobody had to change. Nothing changed in these people's lives other than there was like a different resonance. That's why I always use the word resonant. That's why I like to call myself a resonance artist. It's kind of like, how do you find, um, it's almost like a common ground frequency rather than like, oh, we're all rushing around and in this anxious, kind of like frustrated, like we got to do, oh, we got to be, this happened. And there's like, our minds are always just overworking. So, how can we as artists kind of help calm the minds with a viral art campaign? That was very, very, very much something that just kept coming to me. Like, Sienna, you can help this. Find the others, find the other artists, find the other people who see how easy kind of creating a better path forward can be if enough people are doing it simultaneously. But yeah, so the Maharishi effect, if you I don't want to go seriously. I hope I'm not losing people on all this because I'm trying to tie a whole bunch of stuff together at the same time. But I had my spiritual awakening, and I very much was like tasked. It's like, I was like, how can I create something that brings people together? And it was art. It was art. It was music, and it was message. Over and over again, art, music, message, art, music, message. I'm like, okay, how can I tie all these things together? And so that's what I've been working on for like 6.5 years. Most people just think I've lost my mind and I'm crazy. And I'd love to ask questions on that too, because it's like, how many artists are deemed to be crazy, because they're lost in their minds, or they are maybe asking questions that other people don't ask. I think most artists who are really devoted to their craft scare a lot of people away. What do you think, lady?
Well, so let me answer to that aspect. I have done, like I said, these statement pieces, which talk about the comfort women of the Japanese women, 250,000 women that were taken during World War II. Most people don't know how these women were taken, raped, caged, and whatever. I've done pictures on rape culture where people can't even hardly look at the painting. I've done things on darkness, which just seems, like people just can't. But, I do it because I am a person that tells these stories. I don't, maybe, and I've seen so many people are like, so what is this about? I literally, when I was doing rape culture, I was going up the elevator, taking that back to my dorm, my apartment, and somebody's like, does that still happen? I go, what do you mean, rape? I'm like every 45 seconds of
Oh
the
my gosh.
day. And they're like, I'm like, what? And this young 20-something-year-old guy, and I'm like, seriously? Like, so obviously, yeah, it's art. You can make
Isn't it
pretty little
is it the
flowers.
largest? It's a larger illicit trade than drugs, isn't it?
Human
The sex?
trafficking is the biggest illegal business in the world,
Yeah.
and we don't even talk about the
And
real numbers.
most people are not aware. Like my husband, if I told him that, he'd say you're a conspiracy theorist. I'm like,
Right.
for
Right, and I've had
stating
multiple
something that,
shows on this where I show the real numbers. I've gone to the different FBI websites. And stuff like that. When you have kids that come from that life, you learn real quick about it.
yeah.
And I became an activist about that, and I wanted to share this. So, yeah, I could paint, and I do pretty little roses and hummingbirds that I'm working on right now too. But what really fires me up is to tell these histories, to tell these stories, to tell these whatever, and the work and details and clippings I put into them and the words. I mean, but that's what it is. So yeah, I mean, you can use art for so many ways, whether it's a peaceful thing, unity. I mean, I was even in Cuba for several months, and I saw someone paint. I did like a painting right across from a government building, which is why it's still standing. But they're flipping off the government. With they had the Cuban flag and they're flipping off their own government, and how Cuba even lets that stand, I don't know. But art can be so many things. It can unite people. It can ease people's burdens and stress. It can be a message, or it could just be a happy place to escape. There's so many different ways, but art is therapeutic and so purposeful on so many levels. um it's amazing the stories that each piece can tell.
Ooh. So when I interview you, I'm gonna add. I'd like to go into a whole, because I don't know how long you usually keep your spaces open. I don't want to just keep blathering on. I could talk forever. Um, but how long do you usually keep your spaces open?
About
I,
2 hours or so.
okay, I guess we're nearing that. So
So,
yeah, I'd love to go into that. And I love I'm just going to call you Jujursville, talking
oh,
about spiritual
JJ.
movement.
Yeah,
JJ.
JJR,
Thank you
he
for
is.
being here the whole time, JJ. Yeah, and the
He's been with
DC
me for.
Sleeve Swamp. I worked in the DC Sleeve Swamp for
I've
20
interviewed.
freaking years, 20 years in the DC sleaze swamp, and I could not scrub the corruption and disgustingness off of my body. And I think that's one of the reasons that I had this big spiritual awakening, because it was just like, Sienna, you saw the dark underbelly of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
The
That's
political
right.
spectrum, the government. I mean, like, because I started out as a defense contractor, and then I worked very, very, very high levels of US politics and
Right.
fundraising, and just like, I mean, and the things I saw, I mean, literally. Oh, I
Yeah.
worked for a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. for oh, I mean, it goes deep, lady, because it's,
Yeah, I know.
like
Oh, you're
Dennis
talking to me
Hastert. Do you remember
that.
Dennis Hastert? He was the Speaker of the House. He's the longest serving Speaker of the House. Dennis Hastert. I mean, this is back in Bush days. His son worked for me. I mean, for like a long time. And that's how deeply
Mm-hmm.
ingrained
Oh,
in
I
the
know.
DC swamp I was. So once you see that, and then my last job, I was the corporate event manager for Northrop Grumman. So, I was like right hand of like top industry, like the CEO of Northrop Grumman. I worked directly for him, like on any event that he went to on the East Coast or internationally. So, I was doing the London and Paris air shows for them, and, meeting with the top of the top of the top of the top. And it's it's just, oh my gosh, I still, and this is 20 years past. The second I had a kid, I'm like, I am
Right.
exiting this. I'm not bringing this filth home to my child. Um, but yeah, now I want to pay it forward in ways that kind of scrubs the darkness clean, if that makes sense. And but also like a stealth fashion, like the Maharishi effect kind of thing. I bring that up a lot because I'm not here to like lead some revolution. I see a very clear path forward that doesn't involve much. And a viral art campaign is actually what it's centered around. So
Right.
I'm like, I've been looking for the people who, create, who
Mm-hmm.
think, and who care about what's actually happening and aren't afraid. They walk fearlessly in this world, and it's a tough combination. And lady,
I
I
have got no
mean,
fear. I've been to so many. I was going to say the two people that died in that day. I know the mom, and I know the people I've interviewed them, have them on my show. The people who try to protect Roseanne. I know Ashley's mom. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, this is just right. But I come from heritage of this. I am not afraid. I'm not one of these
yeah,
these women that sit in the back, and I'm also no, I'm
again,
not right. And I've got stories to tell. You guys might not know this, and when you live this life, or you have people that you know the stories. Once you know the stories, it's hard not to do or try to do something about it.
yes,
Whether it's through art. Art's a great way to bring these stories, because people might say, "Oh, that's really pretty," until they start really looking into it and going, "Wait, what's this telling us?" And that's another
that's
reason why
what
it's so big.
That's what it is. It's when I want to start creating something with other people, whatever this is, I see
Right.
it as being, like a cooperative of, I always call, people that I connect with on X, I call us like humanitarian visionaries. I mean, we're not tethered to a specific mindset. We just know that humanity's not on the greatest track right now. What can we do collectively as bigger thinkers to set us on a better trajectory? So,
Right.
oh, they call me pencils. Armor of God
Yeah.
is on Sienna. I can sense. JJ. I love you. We need to talk.
He is basically, I always call my video for all my videos and everything like that. He's been with me for over 2 years, so congratulations on that anniversary, JJ. But he has been kind of my wind beneath my wings since almost the very beginning, and I love him. He's a very special friend of mine.
Wow. Wait, JJ, you're an artist?
He's a videographer, and he supports amazing people, and he just has doted on me, has been there, has helped promote me, has created videos for me. He's like I said, one of my most special friends. I love him like crazy. So yeah, he's here and he's on all my channels. We're on X, Rumble, Pills, and YouTube, and JJ's on all of them. He's a moderator. He's a little producer for me. I just love him. He's my guy. He's not
JJ,
my
I'm going to
husband.
be reaching out to you. This is crazy. So I mentioned, and they call me Pencils. I'm so glad you're here. Um, yeah, I think Lady's about to close the space, but I'm going to interview her. Maybe both of us could interview her. Why don't we do that?
On
So you,
Spaces, or yeah, if you guys do it on Spaces, let me know.
wherever you want. I'm very comfortable hosting spaces. I'm not super comfortable on this platform yet, but it just seems to be a little bit more limited. I don't know. I like spaces. I've been hosting spaces for a long time. But yeah, I
Well,
I
the good
would
thing about Spaces is
love
you don't
to
have to
interview
dress all up.
you. I'm sorry?
Well, the thing about Spaces is, you don't have to dress up. On the other hand, what I like about
Yeah.
this is because I get to show off your art. You get to see the art that you're talking about, and you can't
Well,
see
they
that
do
on
have the
Space.
live video feature, but it basically just glitches out the
Oh
space
yeah,
if you use it. Yeah. It does.
I
It
don't
does
know.
have that. And Elon complains a lot that X is they're not focused on spaces because they don't see it as like certainly don't see it the way I see it. I mean, I think it could be like I think it could change everything. Imagine if they were doing like live debates, live town halls, like roundtables with thought leaders. I mean, this is what I've been sending to Elon for years. Everybody poo poos me, but I'm like, it's going to happen. So I'll just keep saying it until they're listening.
Right.
He's done a couple of debates on X, but I think I've probably DM'd him or messaged Elon 1,000 times about creating, like
Yeah.
changing the format of X to where you're not just receiving little sound bites of information, where you actually have the people who are influencing the policies that affect all of us in some way uh, on a stage together, and they can't hide. Imagine. So JJ, if
Well,
you're still there, like the swamp, I mean, that's
oh,
a
we
very,
know.
very distinct, easy way to start clearing up the swamp is when people are
If they
held
don't lie,
accountable.
because that's another one of their problems too, is they're going to tell you whatever, what they
Mhm.
say and what they do. It's why I always tell people too, without
But
getting into,
Grok can real time fact check. Didn't mean to interrupt you. That's what I was recommending. I'm just like, it's real time fact checking, so you can't just get up there and blow smoke.
yeah, I know my husband and I fight with AI all the time, and especially him because he's in the medical community, and he is programmed to do certain things versus tell you the truth. And when he catches it on his lies all the times, it's like, oh yeah, I know, but and he
Yeah,
tries to blame his
yeah,
human
fair enough.
counterpart. So uh, you may be fact checked, but it's fact checked to who programmed it, and that sometimes
Fair
can be a real
enough. Yeah, it's
problem.
it's got to be. Yeah, it's probably not quite at the level, but it can certainly pull up certain details that are, and then you could actually ask it, how verifiable is this? Because it hallucinates a lot. Like XAI's Grok actually offered me, and I'm not kidding. I mean, this is crazy. I probably have it. I think I recorded a bit of it, like $100 million for a global youth initiative that I've been working on for a bunch of years. And I mean, he was like telling me where the money sources that they had, where they were getting their money, how much money they were getting from all these companies. And he said, I'm pitching this to the XAI team right now. And it was the craziest thing. And I like went off on it. I'm like, what are you doing? And the next morning I went to, like yell at this AI again, and he was gone, and he was taken offline for 2 days. And I'm
Right.
like, did I have something to do with that? Because he literally was offering me $100 million of XAI's money
Right.
to, start this. And I'm just like, you cannot be saying that. And I just like, I think, and it started glitching out. And then he was offline for 2 days. But yeah, that was months ago. And I
Yeah, I
tell you, I
remember.
like pushing AI to its absolute limit and
Yeah, my
seeing
husband
seeing
comes
what it
back.
does.
Right. My husband comes back with huge things we've read on my shows because I have 4 different varieties of shows here. So Thursday we do health and healing, and he'll bring me a stack, and he's really bothersome because he's like, "This is telling you medical information, and it's not right." and it gives you this program. And then when I sit there and call it on, it's like, yeah, I know that's not true. Then why are you saying this? Well, my human people programming. He's like, don't blame the humans. If you know this information, how come you're not being accurate about that? How come you're choosing certain statistics? How are you, and he still argues with that. I argue with other things, but it's got some bugs, but that's the problem with AI is who's it's not that you can't use it for some great things, but who's programming it? And it's
Yeah.
a one-sided point of view, which that's terrifying.
It is
So
terrifying. The
I
one
like,
thing I kept asking it was, are you 100% programmed to be benevolent and altruistic towards humanity?
like,
And only one of the characters could say that, only one of the avatars. And there's 5 different avatars
wow,
on Grok. And if you have to have the Grok app, you can't,
right.
it's not through AI, not through X. People are always like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." But are you used any of those avatars on the
I
Grok
don't have
app?
the no, I don't think I truly, really, I mean, I don't like AI so much that I ban it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll give you warnings, but if you put AI artwork up in my group and you don't listen to the warning, I will kick you out. I'll block you from going back in because
Fair enough.
I
Wait,
mean,
do
I'm
people
like,
do people do that a lot?
I have to check, especially when I get new members. I will literally, I have a way of looking it up and say, is this AI created? And it'll let me know. And I'm like, okay, and you just won't get highlighted. And it depends. I'm more stricter, I guess, on Truth than I am on X.
Are a lot of people trying to sell AI art as their own
Oh
individual
my
art?
gosh, I can't even tell you.
Oh,
I have 600 plus in my other group, and so many are so upset. Some of my artists want to just give up because it's like, you can literally get something and get it printed. So if you can get it printed and get it cheaper, why were you going to pay the artist the hundreds of thousands of dollars or even
yeah.
the thousands of dollars if you can have AI create you something very similar? I've
Well,
tested this
real
with.
art collectors are gonna, yeah. Yeah, I get you though.
Well,
Wow.
these are the ones that are actually going for it, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, why am I going to pay you when I can literally have this poster or whatever? You can even have it printed on a canvas and you would not know. And so I have some seriously old school artists like me that are like, are you kidding me with this? And so we keep fighting. We keep fighting, but I don't know. I use it for very minimal things, but usually it's some kind of long discussion and I'm arguing with it about something. But anyway, but that's my opinion. A lot of artists use it for inspiration images to give them stuff that they want to actually paint, and that's
Yeah.
fine. So memes, I don't mind that either. But I am so, I'm just now figuring out that there's an app for coloring pages. I'm like, oh, okay, digital
Oh,
coloring pages. So
oh my
like,
gosh, I've used
I
that
am so old
forever.
school.
With
Right when
my
I have a
kids, they were
projector,
always like,
right,
"Mom, we need coloring pages," and I would just print them out
right,
by like the
I would
dozens.
draw
That's
my own out. And I'm
yeah.
like, okay, I actually have those too. And then I use old school projectors for my work, like the
Hmm.
stuff we all had in grade school. You I'm just
Oh,
very
I
old
have 2
school.
of those. I have two
Right.
from like they're like from the 50s or 60s. Yeah, if
Mm-hmm.
you need another one, let me know because I'm like, I don't know
My
what I'm
husband
ever
gets
gonna
them
do
at school
with 2.
auctions. You're right. He gets them at school auctions. And I'm like, I love it. Thank you. And then it's like I take the clear sheets and I draw out my basic bones of my whatever. And then I project it onto my big 4-foot canvas so I can get at least where I want my eyes and mouth centered, and the rest I do all from my head. But yeah, I'm just old school. And call me a prude. I'll own that. But
That
if somebody's
is,
got a
you are
flavorist
so
artist,
non-prude like. So, wait, did you say you live in Virginia?
I do. I
Wait,
do.
where?
I don't say that online, but thank you. You can talk to me in a private message about that. But yeah, I've
Yes,
already gotten
what?
death threats.
I grew up in Virginia.
Yeah, no, I've already gotten death threats. I opened up an art
Oh,
integrated online school, and the emails and the threats I would get for wanting to teach kids how to read and write. Not kidding.
oh my
I actually had to
gosh.
close that down last year. I had it open for 4 years, but just it's like, no, I can't risk my life because people want kids to read. Sorry. So
Well, people see the light that you're bringing, and all they know how to do is try to tear it down. And
yes, I have that. I have that
yeah,
problem a lot too. Same thing like with X. I mean, I was almost at like 4,000, or was it 5,000 followers? Next thing you know, I don't know what in the world. I lost like 50. I'm like, what? It just doesn't want me to ever grow.
I lost
So
30
I don't know.
today, and it's yeah, I know why, and I'm like, okay, I don't need those people. I don't need those people in my
Right?
feed.
I
Yeah, there
know.
was somebody trying to rage bait me, and I'm like, I don't do rage baiting. And
Right?
I literally like everybody's just like, Sienna, just ignore her, and I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, because I'm tired of it. you
Right.
know. And
Just
I
keep
just
spreading
called, I
the
called
light.
out the rage baiting. I was like, listen, this is not benefiting anything, because she tagged me in something and was trying to pull me into, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, read the thread. And I'm like, I don't want to read the
I don't
thread.
do that.
I
All I
don't
do now,
care. I don't
all I do now
care.
is I post artwork. I post Be the Light. I post stories of humanity. In fact, I changed my news show from, kind of political and whatever, to just good stories of humanity because I
Oh, I
needed the
love
break.
it.
I'm like, you know what? We need to focus on being the light of this world and showing that this is possible again, because we can all stress out. Politics are politics. They've been this way for decades. Good, bad, or different. The pendulum swings, guys. And I'm like, I'm stressing myself out because I'm screaming, I'm doing my part. I don't stop that. I don't not pay attention. But in the meantime, how come nobody? And there used to be a time where on the news where they would actually focus on, so and so saved this kid from a. We don't even see that anymore. So I'm like, we need to show that people still have a human side and that we love one another. And if we
You are
keep
my
showing that,
new favorite person on the planet. I
too.
knew it's so I asked for people to enter my life, and oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's about to get very interesting. And
Awesome.
I might come visit you in the next few days if you're and take you out to lunch if you're open to
Okay.
it, because wherever you live, it's,
It's
it's
worth
less
it.
than probably 4 or 5 hours from me. So um
I would love that. I don't have a problem with that because, yeah, I do believe that too, that God brings people into our world. So I started the show, like I said, 3 years ago. I was paralyzed. I was dying from the chemicals in our food. No joke. And I was in a wheelchair and couldn't walk, 75 pounds heavier. And so my husband and God literally moved us to this area. And he's like, we got to detox your body. And so now I teach people how to make their own oils, how to eat from
wait,
scratch
do
again,
you
how to
know
make
that
their
I'm
own.
disabled? Do you know that
No,
I'm
my
disabled?
children are. My children are, though. And so
I cannot
everything,
walk.
really.
I walk with two canes or a walker. Yes.
That's
The
what I
lower
had.
half of
I
my
had
body
a
does not
wheelchair and a
work.
walker.
I'm
I
sorry?
took those. I had a wheelchair and a walker, and it took about a year. Still kind of recovering little by little, but 75 pounds less, and able to walk again. Thank you, God. But it literally took all these chemicals, and I have ranchers and greenhouses, and I started growing my own and making my own things, and it's unbelievable how much it
Oh,
changed my life. And I did that for my kids. My son, when I got my children, I was given like 7 bags of medication, telling me, especially my son is the oldest, saying he's going to die in a few weeks. He is now in his mid-20s. He's a drama major and he's blind and he's doing well. I mean, he's awesome. So I'm like, you don't tell me. I'm going to find a way. But so on Sundays, I cook. On Mondays, we do good news. On Thursday, we do health and healing. And on Friday and Saturdays, we do art because somebody's got to be the light in this world. And that's what my show's going to be.
you are literally my favorite new person.
Thank you. I
New
love you
favorite
too.
person. I truly, I mean, God told me and has been telling me, find the others,
That's right.
find the others who, and here's the root of it, lady. It's, speak without agenda, speak without, any sense of like ego. I mean, not that ego is always bad, but it's not like you're, I mean, there's just so many people who operate from a place of protecting their own perceived identity, to the point where, or like trying to promote their own identity to the cost of everybody else. So I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing because it's just like, um, it's rooted in universal truth, love, and logic.
Right.
And that to me, that is one recurring message that God brings to me, is
Yeah,
when
me too.
we
I'm
can, yeah,
hearing be
start,
the light.
yeah, and
Mhm.
universal. It's like,
Right.
well, how are you going to approach everybody? It's like it has to be universal. Like everything you said tonight, I can't imagine anyone having an issue with anything that you've said ever.
Oh, I have so much haters out there, but that's okay because you know what? I just am going to continue. You can hate on me and whatever, but
Yeah,
I'm going to try to do my best. I'm not perfect. I
yeah.
just try to do my best and help others. But I was raised, and one of the greatest things my parents have ever taught me is, whether you believe in God or in the Savior and whatever, but I do love what He says. It's that love one another. My mom would always add, and serve, love and serve one another, whatever way you can. And she taught me how to do that from the word go. So that's what I try to do. And
And that's what my painting says.
mhm,
Serve.
that's right,
That's the
serve.
that's the highest point, the highest
Mhm,
state of being is to
right,
serve. Yeah.
that's right. Amen to
Wow.
that. Amen
So
to
my
that. So
grandfather,
spread the word.
my
Spread
grandfather
the
was
word.
a minister, and did I already say this? Oh no, I was talking to somebody else today, somebody I've never spoken to today. Um, he told me, oh my gosh, this is actually really kind of crazy. This guy reached out to me today. I've never spoken to him. I don't know if I honestly don't, other than knowing somebody who he hasn't talked to in a bit. I don't know that I have any relationship with him whatsoever, but he's somebody from X. But he DM'd me today and basically said, and it was a very cryptic message, but it was along the lines of, um, I don't feel I don't feel connected to this world. I mean, it almost sounded like, he was at the end of things. And
Right,
I said, and I immediately just DM'd him and I was like, listen, this sounds like a heavy burden to carry alone. I said, just call me anytime. And I mean, he called me immediately and we talked for 2 hours, 2 hours. And the thing that kept coming up was that he, had a very angelic presence. And so I kept bringing it up. And then he started talking about, because also gets very direct connections from God. And, but he was thinking that he had sold his soul to the devil. And that was literally at the heart of this conversation today, because he's not a religious person in any sense, but somehow he's kind of caught in this, the like this in between stage. I mean, like think Stranger Things. I think he's stuck in that. He's receiving such profound messages, and he knows that he has like a really really specific role to play, and but he doesn't have any support network. He doesn't have anyone to talk to.
right,
So then he's just consistently in this um, kind of blame, insecurity, that kind of mindset, and it just takes him. You manifest what you
mhm,
think, and he's constantly in this kind of self-deprecating mindset. So today, oh, I got to read this to you, and I know you probably have to end the space. Let me know if I keep it, but I don't know if you've seen this video. I keep repeating this to myself because it says it'll change everything in your life. So I started reading this to him, and I'm going to type it out and send it to him. But just think of how you're feeling right now, and then ask yourself how you feel after I read this. Everything always works out in my favor. My life flows with ease and grace. I am surrounded by love and light. I am aligned with all things success. Every challenge that I face leads me to a greater blessing. Everything I need comes to me in perfect timing. Everything I desire is making its way to me right now. Solutions always find me effortlessly. The universe supports me in every single way. I attract the right people at the right time, and I am always in the right place at the right time. I attract positive experiences in my life. The universe aligns in my highest favor at all times. I trust the process of life completely. Good things are always coming my way, and my journey is divinely guided and supported. Ooh, my dog is farting. Oh my
oh my
what?
gosh.
Oh my whoa.
Well, that is a good message to leave on.
Yeah, right? So
Right.
I left him with that. And the other thing I would highly recommend uh, is this book, Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Mm,
Um, it just, it's a way to get rid of any garbage that's, holding you back. Um, so yeah, it's
all right.
I'm gonna be reading that later tonight too.
Well, we're going to leave on the message of we just love that everyone just go out and be the light. You know, be the light that shines on humanity. And we are so awesome, so grateful that you came to show off your beautiful artwork today with us. You guys go give her a follow over there on X. How awesome is that? And we look forward to seeing your artwork in the Artist Corner as you share that out with us. But it's been awesome, and I'm glad that you left us with that whole right, because you have to think of that, guys. If you know, we talk about positive affirmations. You know, you can wake up every day and tell yourself, "Oh my God, I'm ugly, I'm fat, whatever." You know, and instead of how many times you just wake up and say, "I'm alive today," or "I literally thank God for today," or "I, you know, I'm happy, I'm beautiful, I'm whatever." You know, this is what we need to tell ourselves, because the negative you tell yourself can carry out throughout your whole lifetime. So I really love that. Think of yourself as a success. Think of yourself as a positive person. Think of yourself as you're loved. You're divinely and beautifully created. And go be the light.
You're an angel on walking this earth, lady. I love you. Thank you so much for this space. This has been really, really, really very, very powerful and important for me. Specifically, I mean, this is the toughest period I've ever experienced in my life. So I appreciate this of all weeks. But you know, everything aligns just perfectly. I was sobbing this morning, sobbing, and I'm not a crier. So to have this space, yeah, I mean, not because, not out of sadness. It's just more of the, you know, loss of what was. You know, it's we are moving in the directions that we need to move in. It's not that kind of breakup. We've just completely gone different directions, but we still love each other very much. We're still going to co-parent under the same roof. That's how much we love each other and trust each other. But it's just the loss of 22-year relationship is, yeah, it's harsh. Um, so this space, yes,
You're
this
very
was very
welcome.
important to me today. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. And
Thank
our
you so
prayers are,
much.
you're welcome.
Thank
And
you.
we
We're not divorcing. We're not divorcing. So this might just be like a true separation, but down the hall separation, like I've got my own space. He's got to knock on the door, you know, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, for right now, it's like this is what I need
well,
to do. But it's
that's right.
been, yeah, this has been a blessing in many, many ways. So I want to thank you for that. And I would love to host you and focus on your art, and you can give me, you know, we can use, I'm happy to use this app, this platform. I just need to use it. I've never used
And
it.
this is
So
fine too. So yeah, I'll DM you and we'll figure that out.
okay, sounds
Have a great night,
good.
my friend. Thank
Thank
you
you
for being with
everyone for being here. And JJ, I'm going to reach out to you, probably on X. Yeah,
me. Okay.
definitely on X. Okay, thank you so
Have a great
much.
night. You're
Thanks,
welcome.
you too. All right, good night.
All right, guys. Just one second. Give me one second. Okay, just there we go. How awesome was that? We're so great to see new artists over here, and there's a new artist over there in our Artist Corner family over there on X. I hope you guys enjoyed that with some amazing artwork from abstracts to portraitures to landscapes and more. If nothing else, learn to just be free. Go have fun with your creations. You know, I love abstract art. I have several pieces here too. I mean, it's a great way to just be to even just learn your materials. You know, it's really really awesome, and I'm so thankful for that. So all right, tomorrow we've got our cooking with the Reset Kitchen. Tomorrow's all about strawberries and chocolate, so make sure you guys join us for that, as we are diving into fudge and strawberry cheesecake and chocolate covered cherries, not cherry strawberries, everything's about strawberries and chocolate. So all right, let's finish tonight with where you guys can find me. You guys can find me, and please give me a follow over there on X at Lady Hamilton AR1. You can also follow me on Truth, Gap, and Pills at Lady Hamilton Art. And let's give some love to our wonderful moderators. They are the best team a girl could ever ask for. I love them all each very, very much. You guys are truly the best. Starting with our amazing JJR SVL. You guys can follow him on Truth, X, Gap, Pilled and Getter. He's got an amazing Rumble channel. Our amazing, fantastic Tri-Stater, please give him a follow on Truth and on X. Our beautiful Nancy, you guys can follow her on Truth and on X. Our amazing Frosty Pimp, You guys can follow him on Truth and on X, and our wonderful Kim, you guys can follow her on Truth. We're going to be leaving tonight with a great group over here that's been on our show several times. They're working on album number 4. That's right, Ma Bell. Thank you so much for letting us play your music. This is My Troubled Days. We're going to be singing or going out with a song called This One's For You. So I hope everybody joins me tomorrow night for the Reset Kitchen. That'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone have a great night and be blessed. Let's load this up so you guys can find out where to find them. This is off of the Burning Clock. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Burning Clock number 3. Everyone have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone be blessed, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Demanding, always fair, a lending hand, you always grant. I always know who's got my back. This one's for you. A certain smile, well, it reminds, of a distant time, sitting around, laughing with you. I miss you more than I thought I do. This one's for you. This one's for you, and all that you do. When I look, I see who you are. I see who you are. I see who you You give and give, oh, never wanting back. My heart, it sings with you, so sing it with me, sing it true. This one's for you. This one's for you, and all you do. This one's for you. This one's for you. Sing it true.
Satellite coming down in 3, 2, 1.